The news screens across the city were practically screaming doomsday. Headlines about monsters, mysterious disasters, and cosmic nonsense flashed one after another, leaving people in various shades of mildly panicked to, "Oh well, guess I'll die." At the school entrance, however, the students had gathered for something far more catastrophic than world-ending monsters: gossip. "Bro, this is just another hype train," one kid scoffed, waving at the glowing news ticker. "Remember the zombie rumors last year? Fake, fake, fake." But their attention shifted the moment Shui Qingzi appeared, the school flower, the girl everyone pretended not to stare at but absolutely stared at. "Oh, here she comes," someone whispered. The gossip floodgates burst open immediately. "Didn't she just break up with her boyfriend? Yeah, apparently she was just settling for him. She got into a top university while he couldn't even make it into an ordinary college. Harsh." But honestly, their futures were never compatible. She's like Ivy League. He's the local cafeteria menu. Wait, what was his name again? Fani? Fungi? Fangi. Pretty sure it's Fangi. As if summoned by sheer gossip magic, Fangi appeared right in front of Shui Qingzi. The crowd leaned in, ready for free front row drama. Shui Qingzi, perfectly composed as if she'd rehearsed this in a mirror, spoke calmly. "I've made up my mind. Our relationship isn't realistic anymore. High school love usually ends with that one realization, that we were never truly right for each other. A lasting relationship needs equal standing and courage. So, let's break up. Even if you tried everything, my decision wouldn't change." The crowd held its collective breath. This was the part where the poor fool was supposed to beg pathetically for another chance, right? Fangi stared with a blank face. Shui Qingzi thought, wow, is he so stunned he can't even talk? The peanut gallery whispered. "He's frozen. Bro's about to cry. Poor dude's still dreaming above his league." Finally, Fangi opened his mouth. "Alright." Just like that. No drama. No begging. Just a casual shrug of the soul. Shui Qingzi blinked. "Wait, what?" "That's it. If there's nothing else, I'll leave," Fangi added, brushing it off like someone declining extra rice at lunch. He turned to go. "Wait." Shui Qingzi called after him, confused and oddly offended by how unbothered he was. "No matter what you think or do, I will never come back to you." Fangi glanced back, eyes calm, voice cool. "Don't overestimate your importance. You're just the school flower." Boom. The crowd silently gasped. That wasn't just rejection, that was a headshot. Shui Qingzi stood frozen, speechless for the first time anyone could remember. Meanwhile, Fangi waved the whole conversation off like a bad sales pitch. "I'm too busy for this. Goodbye." And just like that, he walked away. A few students muttered in disbelief. "Wait, that's it? It's over? Breakup speedrun any %. Bro didn't even flinch. Coldest man alive." But while the crowd was reeling from the school's hottest drama, Fangi's mind was elsewhere. These people have no idea. Shui Qingzi, degrees, gossip, all meaningless. The world is about to collapse. I'm not the boy they once knew. I'm someone who has returned, from the future. Because last night, Fangi had seen it. Flashback, cosmic customer support. The night before, Fangi had been swallowed by strange visions. Shattered images spun around him as if reality itself had tripped over its own shoelaces. Then a countdown appeared before his eyes. 361 days until the revival of spiritual energy. And with it, monsters, chaos, and the complete bulldozing of society's rules. Degrees? Worthless. Reputation? A joke. Bank accounts? As useless as expired coupons. The message declared. A new era is coming. Power will be the only currency. The strong will rise as spiritual practitioners. The weak will be trampled. Naturally, Fangi did the reasonable thing. He panicked. Floating in a cosmic void, he shouted. "Who's there?" The void responded with blinding light and energy, blasting him like the world's rudest PowerPoint presentation. A glowing panel appeared. System activated, end of universe protocol online. Supreme algorithm engaged. Spiritual techniques will be generated from spiritual beings the user touches. Current techniques 0. Fangi stared at it, thinking, well, that's something. Then, without warning, a colossal beast with glowing red eyes lunged straight out of the interface. Lightning crackled, jaws wide open, chaos everywhere. Fangi's past life flashed before his eyes. He remembered being an ordinary, powerless human, running through collapsing streets as mutated beasts devoured everything. His homeland burned, his friends died, and in the end, he perished too, consumed by despair and hatred. But in that moment of death, his will to fight back had burned hotter than the flames around him. And somehow, the system had chosen him. Present. Now, standing among gossiping classmates, Fangi's golden-lit eyes carried a new weight. This year, I will change everything. I will use every event, every chance, every battle. Petty love stories and high school drama? They're behind me. Ahead lies the rise of spiritual power, and the end of the world as they know it. The system's voice echoed in his mind. User bound. path initiated. Everything in the world can be used to forge techniques. Fangi smiled faintly, walking away from Shui Kingzi as if nothing had happened. After all, who cared about a breakup when the apocalypse was about to begin? Meanwhile, in the wider world, the officials of Xia went on TV with straight faces and doomsday-level seriousness. Citizens, humanity is facing an unprecedented crisis. Forget your textbooks, your degrees, your carefully memorized math formulas. They're useless now. You must adapt to the unknown. Very reassuring. Truly confidence-inspiring. Fangi, standing among a crowd of half-bored students, thought, yep. This is it. The beginning. The officials weren't even pretending to calm the public. No, everything is under control. No, trust the government. Just good luck, don't die. Nearby, someone's phone buzzed with an emergency alert. The screen flashed bizarre images, distorted landscapes, twisted animals, a big red warning. People muttered uneasily. Strange. Fangi narrowed his eyes. In the old timeline, news like this would have been instantly censored. Zia's way was usually subtle. They didn't scream. We're all gonna die. They'd issue indirect warnings like, please wear sunscreen, and also maybe build an underground bunker just in case. It was slow. It was tiring. But at least it didn't evolve into rioting and looting like the neighboring countries. For Fangi though, every strange thing had a new meaning. The system had told him anything unusual could become a source of power. So when his phone flashed a new headline, highest UV levels in a century at King Chan University, freshmen please bring sunscreen, he didn't laugh it off like everyone else. The students around him chuckled. Wow, the university paid to trend, huh? Extreme UV? Bro, my skin's already fried, nothing new. Fangi ignored them. He looked up at the sky. The clouds above didn't match the warning reports. Even stranger, his phone showed the UV index at 0. Yet King Chan University, just 15 minutes away, was supposedly cooking under lethal sunlight. He smiled. So it begins. Welcome to King Chan University, where the sun hates you. By the time Fangi arrived at the north gate, the casual sunscreen notice had turned into something biblical. The sun blazed unnaturally, scorching the ground. Students ran, shrieking as the heat became unbearable. But Fangi? Calm. Cool. Watching glowing motes of light float lazily in the burning air like fireflies from hell. He crouched and touched one. Zap zap. The light pulsed and exploded into him. Ag hey! The crowd gasped. Some shaded their eyes. Others whipped out their phones. Bro just went Super Saiyan. No dude, that's Ultra Instinct. Nah, that's gotta be DLC powers. Pay to win, I swear. Meanwhile, Fangi screamed as solar energy tore through his veins. His skin burned, his vision exploded into golden light, and for a moment, he genuinely thought he was about to die. Then, the system chimed in like a smug video game announcer. Solar attribute template activated. Congratulations. Golden sun breathing technique acquired. Light erupted from his body. His hair turned white, his eyes blazed gold, and lightning danced around him. The bystanders? Absolutely losing their minds. He looks like a god. Or a glowing rotisserie chicken, can't tell. Meanwhile, the freshmen welcome. At the university's registration area, the mood couldn't have been more different. Shui Kingzi arrived, instantly stealing the spotlight as multiple boys tripped over themselves to offer help. Need help with your luggage? Join my club, we have air conditioning. Free flyers. Take one, it's limited edition. Shui Kingzi rejected them all with a polite but firm. Thanks, but no need. She stood beside her new classmates, unimpressed. These boys are hopeless. Completely love-struck. Then the explosion of light hit. Boom! The ground trembled, the sky lit up, and every student turned to see the north gate glowing like the sun had decided to attend orientation. The loudspeakers crackled. Attention! Please stay away from the north gate due to, an incident. Shui Kingzi's eyes narrowed. Something strange is happening again. At the north gate. The scene was chaos. Smoke, flames, glowing energy. And Fangi standing in the middle of it, radiating like the second coming of the sun god. The system panel hovered before him. Golden sun breathing technique unlocked. Writing points gained, 59. Writing points? He muttered. What the hell do I need, an essay grade? Whatever. Must be useful. As the golden aura surged around him, the system clarified further. By staring at the sun and breathing in solar heat, user may strengthen their body. So basically, become powerful by roasting yourself alive. Great. The crowd formed quickly. Some students screamed. Some laughed nervously. Some swore they felt the temperature drop instead of rise. Then the president of King Chan University stormed in with security. Why are you all still here? Warnings were issued. Back to check-in or you lose points. A hooded officer barked. Seal the north gate immediately. Re-establish the perimeter. The president, sweaty but authoritative, nodded. Another system notification flashed in front of Fangi. Contaminated zone level 1 purified. He froze. Wait. Contaminated zones are officially recognized? The government already knows about spiritual energy? Before he could think further, a broadcast thundered. All unrelated individuals must evacuate the north gate immediately. Military forces rolled in, rifles raised, sealing the area. The crowd buzzed with fear and confusion. Are those soldiers? What's going on? Why does it feel like a sci-fi movie? Fangi clenched his fists. Too many eyes. Too much attention. Time to go. Without hesitation, his golden aura flared, and with a powerful leap, he launched himself skyward, leaving the stunned crowd behind. The hooded officer stepped through the smoke like he'd just come out of a video game cutscene. He knelt, scooped up a glittering shard from the ground, and held it to his eyes. A crystal fragment. This event wasn't an accident, he murmured darkly. Someone has already begun resonating with spirit energy. Security barked orders, shooing away the crowd like pigeons. The officer ignored the chaos, still studying the fragment with the calmness of a man who probably collected weird rocks in his childhood. Nearby, Shui Kingzi froze. Spirit energy? Did humans cause this? Her mind replayed the glowing figure she thought she'd glimpsed earlier. Could that shadow have been Fani? She shook her head immediately. Don't be ridiculous. Fani? The guy who barely scraped through exams? As if he could even get into King Chan University. That evening, Fani versus his own sweat. At home, the sun set, but Fangi was still roasting alive. He lay sprawled on his bed, drenched in sweat like a man who'd lost a fight with his own air conditioning. Cold showers? Useless. Ice packs? Melted in seconds. Air conditioning? Might as well have been a hairdryer. He groaned. At this rate, I won't sleep tonight. I'll just evaporate. As he wiped his face, another worry hit him. What if today's chaos exposed me? Grabbing his phone, he scrolled through the trending news. Sure enough, a post from the Spirit Energy Practitioners Association was blowing up. He frowned. That weird online forum? The one that used to post cultivation memes nobody took seriously? The announcement looked different now. Official formatting, government watermark, a full list of cultivation ranks. The Zia country seal gleamed at the bottom. It's real. In his past life, he'd never seen this. Back then, he was just an ordinary guy running for his life, not browsing online manuals. Now, it seemed the government was openly acknowledging early awakeners. Sitting cross-legged on the bed, he muttered. Fine. If the world's gone official with this, then I'd better get serious. He closed his eyes, inhaling deeply. The heat surged again, but he forced his breathing to steady. Flames of golden energy flickered, then swirled. Slowly, his body lifted off the mattress. Step 1. Strengthen the body into a vessel. Step 2. Become a living weapon. Form of the divine axe. He commanded. Energy roared. Golden light condensed. The system chimed. Congratulations. Breakthrough to Ghost Axe 1-star rank. Another notification popped up. 50 writing points available. Oh right, I forgot about those. The system explained. Writing points could forcibly embed power into anything. Fangi blinked. Anything? Like anything? To test, he picked up a mug. The system politely asked. Embed sun attribute into mug? Cost, 1 writing point. Why not? The mug glowed like the Holy Grail. Fangi smirked. So it works. Which means a sword, a gun, anything could become a divine weapon. His eyes drifted to the sheathed sword in his case. Soon. But I need to test more first. Midnight rabbit problem. Outside, under the moonlight, something stirred in the forest. A mutated beast crept closer, glowing red eyes glinting in the dark. Black feathers bristled along its body as it crouched low. Yes. A rabbit. A rabbit of nightmares. Inside his apartment, Fangi groaned, coughing. He shifted on his bed before suddenly sitting up. His ears twitched metaphorically, his new senses sharper than ever. Coughing. Not mine. Not normal. He stepped into the living room, listening. The sound echoed from the corridor. Opening the door a crack, he peered out. And there it was. The red-eyed, feathered mutant rabbit. Even with memories from his past life, the sight made his skin crawl. The beast twitched, sniffing the air. Its glowing eyes locked onto the hallway. Damn it, Fangi whispered. Elsewhere, rooftop girl. High above, a helicopter swept the city with its spotlight. On a rooftop stood a girl with long hair, casually licking a lollipop like the apocalypse was just her night shift. The rabbit who consumed the dark spirit fruit is still on the loose, she said into her comms. Speed is abnormally high. Keep tracking. With that, she launched off the rooftop, flipping through the sky like an acrobat. Midair, she stiffened. Her senses flared. I've detected the beast's dark energy again. It fled 20 kilometers to a residential area. Her voice sharpened. Immediate pursuit. Protect the residents. Stay cautious. The spirit fruit's effect isn't complete. It may still grow stronger. With a kick against the wall, she vanished into the night, streaking like a comet. Down below, a random pedestrian looked up, jaw hanging. Did I just see Sailor Moon? Inside the Central Channel manga department, one poor overworked editor rubs his eyes and mutters. Am I hallucinating from deadlines again? Or is there seriously someone jumping in front of the moon? His colleague, still red-eyed from inking panels all night, snaps back. Hallucinating? The only hallucination I see is you imagining you're done with the manga. Get back to work, we're on the 65th floor. But before the scolding can continue, the office lights flicker. Outside, framed against the glowing moon, a dark figure leaps, dramatic enough to put every shonen protagonist to shame. Meanwhile, on the streets below, the mutated beast roars and lunges at Fan Yi. Only this time, Fan Yi doesn't flinch. His golden eyes blaze as though he's powered by an ancient solar battery. Ever since his breakthrough, he thinks, my body moves sharper, faster. It's like the beast is charging at me in slow motion. Crackling golden energy coils around his hand, lighting up like he just grabbed hold of the sun itself. Already? Mutated beasts appearing this early? He mutters, half exasperated, half thrilled. He sidesteps the charge with ease, grabs the monster mid-swipe, and slams it into the pavement so hard the ground itself files for workers' compensation. The crowd in the distance might have expected screams of terror. Instead, the only thing heard is the crisp crack of bones and the ominous hum of energy. Golden light wreaths Fan Yi's body. His eyes narrow. The weak points the tail. He rockets upward like a golden cannonball, dragging a shockwave behind him. The earth splits beneath his feet, the beast flails midair. Too late. Fan Yi's fist glows like a miniature sun, and he unleashes a golden beam that burns across the night. The beast howls, writhes, and in a last act of desperation, tries to swallow the energy whole. Fan Yi smirks. Absorb this? You dare? That's solar-grade young energy, my friend. You're not snacking on the sun. The beast ignites from within. Boom! A blazing explosion tears the night apart. Up in his apartment, the poor manga editor nearly chokes on his instant noodles. Thunder? At midnight? He rushes to the window and blinks. Or maybe, I am hallucinating. Down below, Fan Yi lands lightly, shards of glowing energy scattering like golden fireflies around him. He dusts off his sleeves as though he hadn't just vaporized a nightmare rabbit monster. Fragments of a red eye roll to his feet. He stomps once, grinding it into the dirt with casual disdain. The beast was desperate. Reckless. Hungry. He mutters. Darkness-driven but starving. If I hadn't awakened, I'd be dinner right now. His golden aura fades, and with it comes resolve. I need more spiritual techniques. Surviving what's ahead won't be possible with just this. Elsewhere, under the moonlight, a girl descends like a fallen star. She lands in the forest with enough force to crack branches and shake birds from their sleep. Kneeling by the charred corpse, she frowns. Torn apart already? She reaches for the remains but flinches back. Hot! Her eyes widen. This temperature. Young energy? And pure too. Exactly like the one reported at King Chang University. This is no coincidence. She presses her earpiece. HQ, the mutated rabbit is confirmed dead. But it wasn't me. Someone else did it. A pioneer. The calm line crackles. A pioneer? The one who purified King Chang University's northern gate. Yes. Not in the archives, strange. His elemental power is unusually pure. We need him. Contact immediately. Understood. She replies calmly, sealing the sample in her cloak. Her superior barks another order. Postpone everything else. Track him down. Persuade him. The association must have him. The girl pauses, unwrapping a lollipop with immaculate grace. She pops it into her mouth, chewing with all the seriousness of a top-tier spy. Got it, she says. But first, she takes a dramatic slurp. I want milk tea. Fan Yi couldn't help but wonder who this mysterious powerhouse was. Anyone who could release that much overwhelming energy definitely wasn't your average street cultivator. It had to be a true expert. He clenched his teeth and made a silent vow. No matter what, he'd meet this person one day. Meanwhile, somewhere else entirely, Funi stretched his arms wide in front of a giant window as golden sunlight poured into the room like it had been waiting all night just to spotlight him. The whole day starts in the morning. He announced to no one in particular, admiring the dazzling glow. Then, shirt off. Boom. Muscles out. If sunlight had feelings, it would have blushed. Waking up early helps with cultivation, he said, as if revealing a life hack no one on the internet had ever heard before. As he stood there basking in the warmth, glowing energy swirled around him. He activated the legendary golden sun breathing technique, guiding himself to feel the morning rays and absorb them like some oversized, shirtless solar panel. Fan Yi could sense it. Ever since he'd stepped into the Ghost Axe realm, the aura of the so-called mountain masterpiece became much clearer when using this technique. It felt like invisible golden threads were circling around the divine axe. Then, boom! A sudden explosion of light erupted. Wait, already? Fan Yi blinked. The breakthrough happened so fast it caught even him by surprise. Energy surged through his arm as he clenched his glowing fist. Lifting the golden axe, he realized it felt lighter. Much lighter. Swinging it experimentally, he mused. Cultivation is just like chopping wood. What really matters is persistence. Swoosh. His downward chop blasted radiant energy through his body, shaking the ground. Golden flames danced around him as he marveled at how much tougher his body had become. His eyes glowed like two molten suns. Still, he reminded himself, his fast progress wasn't just talent. It was thanks to leftover residual energy from his earlier breakthrough. Surrounded by blazing golden fire, he swore to take things one step at a time. No more flashy leaps. Well, hopefully. Then his eyes landed on a package conveniently stamped. Authentic goods. He frowned. Great. My breakthroughs are so loud, even my delivery parcels are embarrassed. I need to find a quieter spot. Elsewhere, at the association office. An old man, sipping tea and pretending to retire, suddenly froze. His phone pinged, solar energy fluctuations. His brow furrowed. Again? Is it that kid Fang Yi? Back in the mountains. Beside a quiet stream, Fang Yi sat cross-legged, pulling up his glowing screen interface like he was about to order takeout. A prompt asked, use code points to implant Young attribute into weapon? Yes. He confirmed coolly. Golden energy wrapped around him in a swirl. He recalled his last attempt. He tried coding a figurine into a weapon. The result? It worked, until it exploded from the Young attribute's sheer power. This time, however, was different. The new blade in his hand resonated with him deeply, as if it shared the same origin. His screen confirmed. Coding successful. He grinned. Perfect. Let's test it. Swish, boom. The swing unleashed so much energy he nearly started a forest fire. Coughing in relief, he muttered. Okay, maybe a little too perfect. Enter the girl. She dashed into the scene, smoke swirling around her. Seriously? I just went out for milk tea. 1 coupon. And now this? Damn Mercury retrograde. When she spotted the destruction, her jaw dropped. Her tear-filled eyes widened as she realized. Wait, last night his aura was only 1-star ghost axe. How is it now 2-star? And a spirit weapon? For reference, spirit weapons are rare. Legendary even. The association had only 2. And yet this random guy, Milk Tea Girl's least favorite headache, had 1? She laughed nervously. It must be a mistake. Totally a mistake. Yep. Definitely my imagination. Still, muttering under her breath, she got ready to clean the mess. Again. Meanwhile, Fang Yi kept walking through the forest. He mulled things over. His weapon now carried the Young attribute. But who said you could only code 1 attribute? The system's words echoed in his mind. Anything in the world can become coding material. Stacking attributes on a single weapon? Now that sounded fun. His phone buzzed. A message. Hey, are you a pioneer? Saw your browser history. Looks like you entered the realm after a driver post. Fang Yi slapped his forehead. Right. Forgot to set privacy mode. The stranger continued. Their group had 3 members, all pioneers, looking to connect. They asked about his progress, threw in some gossip about a national team player breaking through, and even mentioned that official military recruits were still only at Ghost Axe realm. Then another ping. IDUG 72. New pollution zone just opened. Wanna team up? Safer, and we split the loot. Attached. A file named Dark River Molten Dragon. Curious, Fang Yi opened it. The data explained, tectonic shifts had twisted a river into a molten pollution zone, now carrying a Young-type attribute. His eyes lit up. Perfect match. Without hesitation, he typed back, count me in. In the Manhwa district, a small crowd was gathered around a sealed stone entrance the size of a football stadium door. Oldly, when's your friend getting here? One of them grumbled, already regretting skipping lunch for this little expedition. Another, clutching a scroll like it was his grandmother's recipe book, proudly declared. Thanks to Zhao's detailed maps, we found this place without getting lost in 3 different valleys. Yeah. Someone else chimed in. But remember, once we're inside, watch each other's backs. I'm not carrying anyone home if they get their arms bitten off. Meanwhile, Jang Koya, official staff member of the Ministry of Culture's Spiritual Energy Cultivation Association, yes, it's a mouthful, stood yawning with the look of a government worker who'd been promised a cushy desk job but somehow got roped into caving expeditions. Ugh, no promising pioneers this time either. If this drags on, I'll be working overtime again. She muttered, already fantasizing about slapping in. Out of office. Notice on the cave wall. The narration, perhaps too smug for its own good, explained, most pioneers don't even realize the association is a government agency. Becoming a member isn't just hard, it's practically a miracle unless you're rich, connected, or the examiner's nephew. Just as Jang Koya was calculating how many instant noodles she could buy with overtime pay, someone gasped. Wait, is that Fang Yi? Sure enough, Fangi strolled up like he was arriving fashionably late to a dinner party. His aura radiated strength, yet it felt oddly warm. Not oppressive, not scary, more like standing near a campfire instead of being roasted alive. "It's nice to meet you all," Fangi said with a polite bow, as if he hadn't just made everyone else feel like peasants in the presence of royalty. Koya squinted. Ghost Axe realm, 2 stars. But how does he feel like sunshine instead of a guillotine? She filed that question away for later. "Alright." Someone clapped their hands. "Since everyone's here, time to move out." Inside the cave, Fangi immediately took the lead. "Koya, handle the light." "Of course," she replied, conjuring a glowing orb. The group crept forward, nerves tight as bowstrings. "Careful, loose rocks here," one warned. "Huh, not as hot as I expected," another muttered. "Not yet," Fangi said calmly. "We're not at the core. Stay alert. If you're tired, speak up. Safety first." Privately, Fangi reflected on how warmly they'd welcomed him, despite him being the last to arrive. Either they're genuinely kind, or just desperate not to die alone. Either way, I'll take it. At last, the team stumbled upon a cavern that looked like the Earth's furnace itself, molten lava bubbling and glowing. "Holy, this is actually lava!" Someone gasped, eyes wide as saucers. Before anyone could stop him, Fangi casually walked straight toward the lava pit. "Hey! Don't be reckless!" Jang Koya shouted, nearly dropping her light orb. Too late. Fangi plunged his tang blade into the lava like he was dipping bread into hot soup. The group screamed in horror. "Is he insane? Pull him back!" The lava roared in response, flames bursting like fireworks. Yet Fangi stood untouched, calm as ever, while his system dinged in his mind. World anomaly detected, inner flame. Analyzing. Conclusion, extremely high temperature, explosive properties. Also, don't try this at home. The system then began reciting technique descriptions like a shopping channel. Crimson Flame Blade Technique. Each swing unleashes blazing flames and lightning. Only 99 spirit points, but wait, there's more. Fangi, without hesitation, embedded the inner flame into his weapon. Fire danced around the blade, turning it into a molten masterpiece. He rose safely from the pit, while the others stared like villagers witnessing magic for the first time. "His weapon's absorbing the energy. He's fine? Not even a scratch." Fangi stood confidently, blade blazing. "This perfectly complements my Tang blade," he murmured, as though narrating his own hero's journey. Inspired, one teammate declared, "I'm gonna absorb energy too." "Me too," another shouted. "With a little training, I'll finally step onto the cultivation path." Jang Koya softened, smiling at their enthusiasm. "Don't worry, I'll keep watch. Just focus on training." "Thank you," they all chorused, bowing like schoolkids. But her smile faded when her sharp eyes caught movement at the cave entrance. "Trouble incoming," she warned. A group of aggressive newcomers swaggered in. Their red-haired leader sneered. Well, well. Look at the small fries. This is our turf now. Get lost before I roast you." Jang Koya glanced back at her teammates, still sitting cross-legged in cultivation bliss, completely oblivious. She quickly sized up the newcomers, 3 Ghost Axe 1 stars. Too strong to risk fighting head-on. She forced a polite smile. "We found the spot first. My friends have already started absorbing energy. If you're willing to cultivate peacefully, we can share." The red-haired brute laughed in her face. "Share? With you weaklings? Don't make me laugh. Move or bleed." Her hand tightened around her staff as she reminded herself of the brutal law of this new era. Survival of the fittest. The weak get trampled. But as a representative of the Xia Countries Association, she clenched her jaw. Like it or not, I can't let this slide. Just when the situation looked grim, Fangi stepped forward with a kind of confidence that could only come from either a lifetime of training or binge-watching too many martial arts dramas. Standing tall, he pointed his sword at the red-haired thug and accused. "So this is all you can do? Bully a girl?" The man blinked like someone who had just been accused of stealing snacks in public. "What?" he shouted, utterly scandalized. Before the poor guy could recover from his dramatic "What?" Fangi unsheathed his flaming blade. With a single swing, he released a fiery shockwave so powerful it yeeted half the enemy squad back like paper dolls. Dust swirled, rocks trembled, and somewhere, a background narrator probably whispered, "Wha?" The red-haired leader's jaw dropped. "Fall back! Fall back!" he screamed, but it was already too late. Fangi's flaming slash detonated like a firework festival gone rogue, tossing enemies into the air like discount fireworks. One of Fangi's teammates, still recovering from the energy shockwave, muttered, What the hell just happened?" Cool as ever, Fangi reflected. This world fell to ruin because cultivators worship strength alone, the strong preying on the weak. And honestly, you can't lecture these types into being good people. You just have to remind them with a flaming sword. So he slashed again. Boom. Another explosion. The enemy leader's expression shifted from slightly annoyed to facing a literal kaiju. What kind of monster is this guy? The group scattered in sheer terror, leaving behind only the smell of scorched pride. Fangi's teammates ran up, wide-eyed and fangirling harder than the nearby village girls. Bro, that was insane! Did you see the explosion? So cool! Fangi just smiled modestly. They crossed the line. But enough flexing, we've got the energy we came for. Time to bounce. As the squad prepared to exit the spirit zone, they whispered about how destructive his attack could have been if it had actually landed full force. Meanwhile, Zhang Xiaoya, watching quietly, clenched her fist. Her inner thoughts screamed. This guy isn't normal. He's a top-tier pioneer with elite talent. I need to report this. Cut to Spirit Energy Cultivation Association HQ. A woman at the office nearly spat her tea when she read the report. Another high-tier pioneer? Zhang Xiaoya froze on the other end of the call. Another? What do you mean another? She stammered nervously, while secretly pressing save file on her recording. Smooth. She later gushed to her teacher. 2 high-tier pioneers in 1 week. Isn't that wild? The old man groaned like someone who just got homework dumped on him at age 50. Luck? Please. Anyone with a high-tier attribute is about to become a big deal. And honestly, I'm too old for this nonsense. Somebody fire me already. Meanwhile, Fangi strolled into town wearing a hoodie and carrying his sword like it was no big deal. Girls passing by whispered, OMG, he looks like a main character. Cue Fangi's inner monologue. I'm not cool. I'm just cosplaying. Then came the breaking news alert on his phone. Glowing skies in the east, purple aura, even a dragon sighting. Cultivation cliches leaking into reality. Fangi sighed. So my inner flame is stronger than I thought. Guess it's time for more golden sun breathing. 5 minutes later, at the back mountain, Su Mantang, aka by King, aka the one who clearly skipped leg day for sprint training, sensed the energy surge and panicked. Wait, someone's breaking through to the 3-star Ghost AXE realm? Who even does that? She raced to the scene only to see Fangi in full anime protagonist mode, cross-legged, glowing eyes, golden flames, lightning crackling everywhere. Above him, energy condensed into the shape of a divine axe. Su Mantang nearly fainted. Is this guy for real? I nearly died vomiting blood last time I tried. And he's glowing like a walking thunder god. The divine axe pulsed with overwhelming energy. Fangi, calm as a monk on vacation, just sat there controlling it with precision that most cultivators would kill for. His aura screamed. Heaven's chosen one. Su Mantang's jaw on floor. Her inner monologue. He's not just a genius, he's a monster. A really handsome monster, but still a monster. Suddenly, boom. Fangi rose into the air, golden lightning erupting everywhere, breaking through to the 2nd star of the Ghost Axe realm. Su Mantang braced herself in the storm, hair whipping like a shampoo commercial gone wrong. 30 seconds and I already can't get close. This guy's ridiculous. She spotted the axe stopping by a giant glowing tree, realizing it hadn't fully awakened yet. But before she could collect herself, Fangi reappeared behind her like a ninja. Calmly, he said, keep my identity a secret for now. Su Mantang blinked then fumbled for her badge like it was an Uno reverse card. I'm Su Mantang, official Spirit Energy Association scout. Look, ID proof. Fangi raised a brow. Su Mantang, wait, that name sounds familiar. Flashback to his past life. Oh right. Didn't she fail her mission and humanity got wiped out? Yeah, that was awkward. Out loud, he just nodded politely. Su Mantang beamed. See? You can trust me. Fangi. Sure. I'll think about it. Then vanished like Batman after a mic drop. Su Mantang groaned. Why do I always miss my chance? And now I've got to write another report. Kill me now. Just then, her earpiece buzzed. Alert. An abnormal has reappeared. Her blood froze. It's active again? No way. I'll never forget what that monster pack did last time. She clenched her fists. Fine. If Fangi's a monster born of thunder, then I'll need him for what's coming next. Dark red creatures with twisted forms crawled through the ruins of the city like cockroaches after a power outage. They hunted, bit, and killed for no reason other than being horrible neighbors. Some attacked at random like drunk hooligans, while others moved with strategies so complex it made humans wonder if these monsters had taken online strategy courses. The Spirit Energy Association, in their infinite wisdom, had officially labeled them abnormal beings, which was really just a fancy way of saying, we have no clue what these things are, but they bite, so kill them. The danger was clear. If these creatures weren't eliminated early, they absorbed aura like free Wi-Fi and evolved into even nastier versions of themselves. Left unchecked, they became walking natural disasters, bigger, meaner, and twice as difficult to deal with. Cue the scene. Lightning flashed across the rain-soaked city, slicing through the storm clouds like a dramatic stage spotlight. Rain poured down in sheets, drenching the streets until they looked like reflective rivers of neon and despair. Emergency warnings blared across giant electronic screens, flashing messages like, Warning, warning. This zone has entered. You really shouldn't be here. State. Civilians, please evacuate immediately. Warning. Passers-by muttered, shaking their heads. These anomalies are getting too frequent. One complained. Another sighed. At this rate, the monsters are going to start asking us to pay rent. Amid this chaos, Fan Yi, hood pulled over his drenched hair, stepped into a puddle with the confidence of a man who clearly didn't care about wet socks. He tilted his head up at the sky, narrowing his eyes at the pressure rolling in the atmosphere. Lightning wasn't just striking, it was flexing. The center of the storm is still moving, he muttered, as if scolding a misbehaving dog. With that, Fan Yi darted up a flight of slick stone stairs, his boots splashing as he sprinted. He stopped briefly to glare at a mountain in the distance, now being struck repeatedly by purple lightning. The signal is coming from there, he whispered. And then, without hesitation, because hesitation was for the weak, he leapt forward into the storm. Meanwhile, at the Spirit Energy Association emergency meeting, a giant holographic screen flickered to life, showing Yu Huang Peak getting fried like a French fry in a fryer. The spiritual energy levels are rising, reported one nervous staffer. Danger level increasing rapidly. A man in a suit adjusted his glasses gravely. This is serious. Translation: we're all screwed, but I'll pretend I'm calm about it. Another official added. Even Ghost Axe Tier 3 elites would have a 100% fatality rate in that zone. Everyone gasped. Papers shuffled. Coffee was spilled. Bai King, the unfortunate soul tasked with explaining the mess, bowed slightly. In 1 hour, the zone will need a new emergency classification. And no one in our entire district has the ability to approach it safely. Lock it down, barked one officer. Seal it completely, shouted another. And so, with the speed only bureaucrats could muster, they declared the mountain off limits. Back at the mountain itself, the storm raged, lightning tearing into the earth. And who else but Fan Yi appeared, cloak whipping dramatically, muttering to himself like a lunatic in the rain. I will reclaim my memory, he whispered, as though the storm itself was listening. But Fan Yi knew the truth. If he wanted to absorb this level of spiritual energy, he had to go deeper into the mountain's core. The problem? Even ordinary monsters had been beefed up by this lightning buffet, and the danger level was rising fast, complete with space-time distortions. Basically, it was a buy one doom, get another free situation. Still, Fan Yi wasn't the type to run. He had mastered the golden sun breathing technique and the flame blade, but he also knew his body wasn't exactly built for unlimited overclocking. Too much strain, and he might snap like a cheap USB cable. So, naturally, he grinned and pushed forward anyway. Only by pushing my limits can I survive, he muttered, tightening his grip on his blade. If I miss this chance, I might as well wait for death under the heavens. And then lightning said, bet. A massive bolt of blue-white thunder came crashing down, lighting up the entire peak. Fan Yi braced, screaming through the pain as sparks and fire coiled around him. His clothes tore, blood streaked his lips, but he refused to fall. The system chimed in cheerily. High voltage notification, massive lightning energy detected. High voltage system recording progress. Fan Yi roared, flames bursting from his body as he leapt upward, clashing directly with the storm. His fire and the lightning tangled like rival lovers in a messy breakup. People in the city stared at the colossal explosion of light from their towers. Someone whispered, "Is that a human?" The system pinged again. White heavy checkmark achievement unlocked. Divine thunder tempering. Sparkle's heavenly thunder-drawn body refined into divinity. Award, plus 50 system points. When the storm cleared, Fan Yi floated above the mountain, glowing like an avenging deity. His aura warped the very weather around him. Lightning, he declared, voice echoing, is both my fangs and my shield. The system wasn't done. Skull new ability available, Pure Judgment Lightning. Effect, plus 300% damage to evil beings. Cost, system points. Purchase? Fan Yi tilted his head, eyeing his sword. He could embed the lightning into it, but if he did, the blade might snap under the weight of such absurd power. He smirked instead, flexing his hand. Put it in my right hand, he commanded. High voltage confirming command. High voltage embedding lightning attribute. Sparks gathered, thunder roared, and lightning coiled into Fan Yi's palm. His grin widened. Perfect, he whispered. And so, standing in the middle of heaven's wrath, he absorbed the storm itself, smiling like a madman who had just stolen candy from the gods. At dawn the next day, the storm-ravaged Yong Peak looked like a battlefield straight out of a bad apocalypse movie. Lightning scars across the mountainside, trees fried to charcoal sticks, and military personnel squinting into the mist like they expected the mountain to cough up an apology. Report, barked Major Hanli, who had the personality of an iron rod and the haircut to match. Sir, one officer snapped to attention. Someone entered the mountain before us. Hanli's brows twitched. A pioneer? Yes, sir. From behind, Bai King, who usually looked like she could stare down a thundercloud into apologizing, suddenly rushed forward, voice trembling. Did he survive? No one answered. The silence was dramatic enough for the background wind to kick in, fluttering her uniform like she was posing for a propaganda poster. Finally, she knelt to the ground and muttered, "I can't sense his attributes, or how long he's been gone. Yesterday's lightning storm scrambled everything." The officer cleared his throat and tried to sound less like he was reading off Google Translate. Well, it happened around 6 or 7 a.m. He slipped in just before we got here. Honestly, the timing was so tight, he might have dodged us before the sensors even updated." Hanli looked over the charred peak, unimpressed. The reading said pollution should have spiked to rank X, but instead, the density plummeted. Suspicious. Suspicious? Bai King frowned. Yes. Suspicious. The officer leaned in dramatically. The intruder may have lightning powers. Which means he didn't just survive, he feasted on that storm. Used it like a 5-star buffet. Too precise to be coincidence. Whoever he is, he's dangerous. Bai King folded her arms. Friend or foe? Hanli's lips tightened. If foe, then disaster greater than any anomaly. Dun dun dun. Meanwhile, across town, Fangdi was waking up on his couch. His sword lay beside him like an overworked roommate. His hair stuck up in 6 different directions, and his first heroic act of the day was rubbing his head like a hungover panda. Back at command, Hanli was already plotting damage control. Assign him a code name, he ordered. Tyrant. Yes, because nothing says let's stay subtle like calling someone Tyrant. The investigation at Yuang Mountain kicked off immediately. The military kept it hush-hush, spreading fake reports of natural disasters. On the Rain-Soak Summit, the Spiritual Practitioners Association arrived. Their leader, who looked like he practiced stern frowning in the mirror every morning, told Hanli, "We've already dispatched a top pioneer to make contact." Then he turned dramatically to Su Qing. "Brief him." Su Qing's heart skipped a beat. "Me? Brief him?" She swallowed hard, stitched together half-truths with the skill of a panicked student bluffing an oral exam, and said, Yes sir. I believe it's the same pioneer who purified the contamination at the university. I've been trying to reach him, but he's elusive. Very elusive. Like a ninja rabbit. The rabbit part wasn't entirely wrong. She even mentioned the dead mutated bunny she'd stumbled upon, proof of Fangi's trail, and noted the traces of young flame energy at the scene. All technically true. Major Hanli studied her like she was an exam paper. Finally, he nodded. Gifted young pioneer. Well done. Su Qing saluted so sharply she nearly sprained her wrist. Inside, she screamed with relief. When the meeting wrapped, Hanli casually mentioned plans to cover everything up with natural disaster reports, and warned against putting spiritual data online. Su Qing exhaled, finally free of interrogation. Meanwhile, back at Casa Fangi, our tyrant, Hiro was drying his hoodie with his golden sun breathing technique. Within seconds, the damp hoodie looked like it had been kissed by divine laundry service. He flexed his fingers, sparks dancing playfully between them. The once violent thunder energy now bowed to his will like a tame puppy. He grinned. 200% critical damage boost, huh? Oh, we're cooking now. Just then, ping! His phone buzzed. Fangi squinted. He'd set up special alerts for emergencies because, in his world, breaking news usually translated to, "Congratulations, you're now the unpaid intern for saving the city." The notification? A chemical plant explosion. Officials claimed no injuries. Fangi raised an eyebrow. Yeah, right. And I'm a vegan. Scrolling through forums, he read eyewitness accounts. Cold aura. Evil presence. Creepy vibes. The words triggered a horrifying memory. Blood, chaos, and a crimson monstrosity with too many eyes and not enough manners. A mutated creature. Fangi muttered grimly. And not the cute bunny kind. His fist crackled with blue lightning. He knew these abominations grew stronger if left unchecked. Tonight he'd hunt it down. Surrounded by a storm of electricity, Fangi smirked. Time to test my 200% critical damage boost. That same rainy night, the streets were empty and slick, reflecting the storm like a broken mirror. Blurred figures darted across rooftops, an elite squad cloaked in black, moving like shadows given legs. They were the Destroyer Squad, specialists in hunting things that went bump in the night, then tore people in half for dessert. Their current headache? A creature codenamed Candle Knight. One operative reported grimly. Target sighted earlier, but it slipped away. Not surprising. Candle Knight had the uncanny ability to melt into the dark. And unlike moody teenagers, it actually thrived there. Worse, it gave off a low, sinister sizzling sound, like bacon frying, except the bacon was human. High above the city, lightning split the sky as the squad regrouped on a rooftop. Their leader, silver hair, battle-scarred face, eyes that screamed, "I haven't slept since the Cold War," knew the storm tilted the odds in the monster's favor. Still, with grim determination, he growled, "We stop it. Tonight." At Central Command, an operator filed the report. Priority level, red. Time frame, 12 hours. The extermination order was sealed and transmitted with all the urgency of an overworked bureaucrat slamming. Reply all. The squad got their orders: hunt it. Kill it. But don't die like amateurs. Red dots glowed ominously on their digital map, marking multiple threats across the nation. 12 hours wasn't ideal, but hey, national resources were stretched thin. Candle Knight would have to settle for being killed on a budget. But then came the snag. A warning buzzed across their comms. The area was currently under the jurisdiction of the Spiritual Energy Cultivation Association. A profile photo popped up: Su King, local prodigy, and, according to every gossip forum, the one who outworks caffeine. The squad leader sighed, pinched the bridge of his nose, and requested her assistance. Her reputation was flawless, her attitude less so. Elsewhere, Su King raised an eyebrow. Since when am I this famous? Did my fan club pay for ad space? Minutes later, under pounding rain, Su and her cloak team arrived. Perching above like dramatic gargoyles, she smirked. So, you're the ones dragging me out for overtime? The silver-haired captain, who hadn't smiled since the invention of umbrellas, responded bluntly. Candle Knight is a man-eater. This isn't a casual favor. One of Su's teammates immediately bristled. Wow, who gave Mr. Personality the megaphone? Su pivoted with a mock bow. Well, if you're so capable, you clearly don't need me. She turned to leave, cloak swirling dramatically for emphasis. Her squad trailed after her, muttering. Does she always roast people this hard? One asked. Relax, it builds character. Another shrugged. Panic flickered across the destroyer captain's scarred face. He actually called out. Wait. And swallowing his pride, pleaded. We need you. Candle Knight is unlike anything else. If we fail tonight, innocent lives will be lost. That hit the right chord. Su sighed, rolled her eyes, and finally agreed, though she muttered something about extra pay or I walk. Just then, one squad member stiffened. Contact. The city seemed to inhale as a portal ripped open above. Shadows coiled like smoke. Then came the eyes, red, burning, unblinking. File number 7, Candle Knight. Likes darkness, dampness, chewing on pedestrians. Destroyer squad. The captain commanded. Begin operation. The beast lunged, faster than thought, a blur of claws and sizzling darkness. The squad's formation snapped into place like clockwork, north, east, west, south. A coordinated trap. Steel clashed with shadow. One operative struck true, drawing a shriek that rattled teeth. But Candle Knight responded with a swipe so brutal it carved a car in half. Red eyes blazing, it spun into a vortex of dark energy, screaming in fury. Dodge! Soundwave incoming! Su barked. Too late. The spiraling shockwave erupted, flinging fighters across rooftops like soggy ragdolls. Masonry cracked, sparks burst, and one soldier groaned. I think it dislocated my dignity. Their captain, bleeding from the arm, staggered upright. If I hadn't dodged, my bones would be dust. He spat blood and added. If it remains in the city, catastrophe is inevitable. Candle Knight howled, body glowing a sickly green. Dark energy pulsed outward, corroding the rooftop as though the world itself was melting. With startling speed, it began digging into the ground, carving a tunnel with acid breath. It's trying to burrow! A squad member shouted. Everything it touches corrodes instantly. We don't have a counter-element strong enough. One soldier quickly calmed them. It can't dig out instantly. Hold formation. We're intel support, not a marching band. Stay sharp. Then BM. Candle Knight burst from the ground, claws first, and sent another operative flying into a billboard, which ironically read, Think Positive. The squad leader roared. Don't let it escape. Chase it. They followed the glowing green energy trail through the storm until they reached another rooftop. A spike in spiritual energy nearly blinded their scanners. One member raised a hand. Careful. We wait outside. The target's inside, and it's not alone. Inside the abandoned factory, the squad's lead scout was hunched over, fiddling with a gadget strapped to her wrist, a sleek little thing blinking faintly like it was half asleep. Is that the association's new auxiliary tool? The squad leader asked, raising a brow. She puffed her chest a little. Yep. This beauty can track anomaly levels. The average squad can handle up to 50. She paused, then added in a smug tone. The one we were chasing earlier? Barely 48. Child's play. The device suddenly screamed to life, its readings spiking violently. 80. 85. Climbing. Everyone stared. She blinked. Okay. Not child's play. Before anyone could process, a shadow uncoiled above them. A massive serpent draped across the steel beams like it owned the place. And if that wasn't bad enough, a loud crash thundered from behind. Great. Someone muttered. 2-for-1 special. Bai King clenched her jaw. We've been tricked. Candle Knight lured us here, and now the serpents joined the party. The leader barked an order. We're retreating. Straight to the door. If it wants to stop us, it'll have to show itself. Together, they blasted the rusted factory doors with spiritual firepower, forcing them open. They bolted. Almost made it. Almost. Something lashed out of the mist and slammed biking to the ground. Poison gas hissed through the air, seeping into her lungs. Her limbs weakened, her senses dulled. She gasped, clawing at her communicator. Guys! Silence. Only the eerie echo of the factory. Alone, choking in the haze, she pieced it together. Candle Knight is the bait. The serpent's the butcher. One lures, one harvests. The serpent's monstrous face emerged from the toxic fog. Unlike Candle Knight's creepy theatrics, this mist wasn't just for show. It was poison, pure and simple. Paralysis, energy drain, suffocation, the whole deadly package. Her body gave in. She collapsed. A faint shaft of light cut through the ceiling above, but she couldn't even lift a finger. Then, boom! A figure crashed down from above, landing with enough force to crack the concrete. Fangi. Calm, confident, and looking like someone who just jumped into a fight he'd been waiting for all day. The serpent lunged at him with jaws wide, but Fangi dodged effortlessly. And just as he steadied himself, wham! Candle Knight dove from above. Two anomalies, coordinated like hunting partners. Fangi growled but smirked. So that's the game. One lures, the other devours. Cute. Candle Knight, you bite a little too much. You must really enjoy it. Thunder crackled around him, his sword igniting with blazing lightning. With a sweeping strike, he scorched the serpent's body, flames tearing into its scales. The serpent reeled, screeching in agony, but its wounds closed almost instantly. Fangi wasn't surprised. Of course you regenerate. Figures. Then he unleashed his trump card, channeling his flame and thunder into one devastating blow. Fire seared, lightning purified. The serpent's body writhed, screaming until it finally collapsed into ash. Triple crit thunder finish. Fangi muttered, admiring his own handiwork. Not bad. Pretty sure I'm climbing the pioneer rankings. Just as he was basking in his victory, poison from a stray serpent's scale burned into his shoulder. His vision blurred. The serpent's last laugh. Gritting his teeth, he reminded himself, flame dissolves poison. Golden sun breathing heals. Thunder purifies. My body screams because it knows the danger, but at least I'm alive. Others wouldn't be so lucky. He steadied his breath, let the poison burn out, and watched the serpent's ashes scatter. That's when he noticed movement in the smoke. Su King, the scout, coughing miserably. Fangi raised a brow. Oh, you're still alive. What was your name again? He smirked. Don't bother pretending you're dead. Your acting needs work. Her face turned beet red. I wasn't pretending. I really did pass out. The smell woke me. Fangi chuckled. Strong willpower though. Your teammates fainted, yet you had just enough left to shield yourself. If you were out cold, you wouldn't have smelled blood or burnt flesh. Su King blinked stunned, then muttered a thanks. Inside, she thought, so he noticed I saved a sliver of energy. Just how strong is this guy? He waved it off. Doesn't matter. Promise you won't reveal my identity, and we're good. For a moment, he almost seemed friendly. Then he glanced at the gaping roof and sighed. I'm late. You're safe now. I'll leave the cleanup to you. Before she could protest, he leapt up through the hole. No need for more talking. Talking just complicates things. As he disappeared into the night, Su King whispered to herself. Enemies really do meet on narrow paths. Meanwhile, Fangi smirked privately. Good thing she didn't see me trying to absorb that dark energy earlier. That stuff's disgusting. Cold, slimy, and the system didn't even respond. Forget it. I'll analyze later at home. Meanwhile, back inside the factory, chaos looked more like a nap party. Su King stomped over, slapped her teammates awake, and barked. Everyone up! It's all over now! Her poor teammates scrambled like chickens in a thunderstorm. The senior member of the squad blinked awake, rubbed his eyes, and yelled. We were ambushed! But the words died in his throat when he spotted the giant serpent's corpse roasting like a barbecue pit right in front of him. The others, now fully awake, gawked at the sight of the burning python. The senior's jaw practically hit the floor. Wait a second. Where did that overwhelming young attribute come from? Su King, who had been patiently waiting for her dramatic line, stepped forward calmly. As you can see, gentlemen, someone came to help us. Pioneers. My mission target, in fact, an extremely high-level attribute pioneer. That got her teammates buzzing like gossiping aunties at a wedding. So you know who he is? One asked eagerly. Su King shook her head with a helpless smile. Not yet. He actually saw through me when I tried to tail him. But this time he saved us. Everyone turned to stare at the burning serpent again, and one wide-eyed teammate blurted. Hold on. You mean to tell me this guy soloed both Candle Knight and the python? Alone? What is he, a monster? The senior marched forward, puffing his chest out like he knew what he was doing, and began inspecting the charred battlefield. While trying to look cool, he stepped on one of the serpent's fallen scales. Bad idea. Easy. A crackling surge of violet electricity zapped the floor, and the poor guy nearly jumped out of his boots. Holy! Violet energy? He yelped. He spun to Su Qing like she owed him answers. Captain, didn't you say it was a young attribute? This is way too intense. Su Qing crouched down beside the remains, her expression serious. Candle Knight's thunder attribute. Very pure. Very strong. Definitely high tier. The senior frowned, muttering like a man whose worldview just got shaken. Wait a minute. Could it be 2 high-level pioneers showed up here? One killed the Python, one killed Candle Knight, and they left together? But Su Qing didn't move. She just stood there staring at the scorched battlefield, her fists slowly clenching. Her inner monologue screamed louder than her voice. No. Only one person came. Nobody would believe it, but one guy carried 2 high-tier attributes. Yang Flamewalker, Thunder Tyrant. What kind of freak is this? Time skip, fast forward a little. Outside the factory, several association vehicles rolled up like nosy neighbors who finally decided to check in. Su Qing sighed in relief. Good thing I stationed guards outside, or else they'd have sent a mop-up crew for our corpses. Inside, her teammates clung to her like overly emotional drama heroines. Boss, you're alive! I thought I'd lost you forever, sobbed one. If you had died, what would I do without you? Cried another. Su Qing stared blankly. What nonsense are you people spouting? Before she could shake them off, the association's reconnaissance team marched in with scanners and crystal devices, moving around like CSI investigators. Their job? Reconstruct the fight and make everyone else feel inadequate. One scanner stopped, checked his readings, and announced to the room. Captains, based on combat habits and kill patterns, there's a 99% chance one person killed both anomalies. The senior went stiff. So it really was one person. A dual high-tier attribute pioneer. Another teammate muttered. And here we are, Ghost Axe realm, feeling proud of ourselves. The gap is ridiculous. Su Qing quickly stepped aside, pulled out her communicator, and reported to the higher-ups. My surveillance target appeared. Both Tyrant and the North Gate anomaly were my missions. Data's updated. On the other end, the association's chief listened, then sighed. I understand, Su Qing. Halt your mission for now. He saved you and wiped out the threats. He's not our enemy. Best not to annoy the man. Frankly, Old Han and I already disagree about this. Su Qing pressed her lips together, then added carefully. But Chief, back when Tyrant was about to advance at the back mountain, I sensed a very strong aura. At first, I thought it was a spiritual weapon. Now, knowing he's a dual high-tier pioneer, I'm beginning to wonder. The Chief's tone sharpened instantly. A spiritual weapon? Impossible. No one could have that without major backing. And besides, our scanners found no third attribute traces. Su Qing persisted. When I came in contact with him, the aura I felt was definitely Young attribute. There was a pause. Then the chief muttered, half to himself, half in awe. If the weapon's aura really comes from his own Young attribute, then if he's a spirit creation realm cultivator, it might be possible. Su Qing's breath hitched. Spirit creation realm? That's insanely rare. Globally, we barely have 2 of them alive. But the chief wasn't finished. His voice dropped low. And if he truly has a third attribute, it will shake the entire pioneer world to its core. Attributes clash violently in the human body. It's supposed to be impossible to hold 3. No confirmed pioneer has ever done it. Then, after a long silence, he added grimly. If he does have a spiritual weapon, the fact we couldn't detect a third attribute might actually be a blessing. Let's just hope this freak of nature never decides to turn against humanity. The story now shifts to our MC who had just stepped out of the shower, steam still curling around him like he was about to star in some dramatic shampoo commercial. He towel-dried himself for about 2 seconds before lazily letting his fire attribute do the job. Instant hair dryer mode, no electricity bill. As he brushed the droplets from his shoulders, his mind wandered. Less than a year until the official spiritual energy revival, yet anomalies are already popping up like mushrooms after the rain. And not the tasty kind. The dangerous, explode-in-your-face kind. He muttered to himself as he got dressed, thoughts spinning faster than a washing machine on overdrive. Recently, pioneers everywhere had started cultivating solo. Crack open the interface between body and spiritual world, and suddenly you were sensitive to heaven and earth changes, like some kind of human antenna. He thought back to the people at the underground river, wild pioneers just like him. Most of us are already at 1-star ghost penetration realm, even without Zia country's official stamp of approval. Now that they're reaching out to the wild crowd, it means things are still peaceful-ish. Mutual exploration. No one stabbing each other yet. Still buttoning up his shirt, he frowned. But even if the government's association exists, it hasn't gone public yet. Rumors are everywhere. Instability, weird phenomena. It's obvious they're trying to protect people while also quietly yelling, guys, trouble's coming. He froze halfway, staring at the floor, memories flashing of his past life, buildings crumbling, cities burning like giant bonfires nobody asked for. His jaw tightened. That's the problem. I can feel it. The government doesn't have the guts to launch full-scale cultivation. Too many people. Once the truth gets out, order collapses faster than a bad Jenga tower. Panic, unrest, chaos. Even official pioneers won't stop it. Internal and external threats will crush everything. In that sense, their slow and careful approach isn't wrong. After all, human hearts? Way scarier than ghosts or gods. He sighed, but then his brow furrowed deeper. Still, anomalies are growing faster than I expected. As if on cue, a system notification blinked in front of him. Detected attribute reading, dark, subattribute, shadow. His eyes narrowed. The memory of black mist surged back, the contamination, the hunger inside it. Shadow attribute, the natural enemy of pioneers. These things weren't just brainless exotic beasts. No, they were clever. Too clever. They hunted pioneers specifically, bodies rich in spiritual nutrition. They even worked together sometimes, laying traps like seasoned assassins. And that was just a sub-attribute. The true dark types? He'd seen them before, the ones capable of wiping out entire nations. One of them alone was enough to ruin a continent's day. Even today. If I hadn't interfered, that squad and those recruiters would have been toast. Shadow is already that sinister. If that's just a branch. He let out a low laugh that wasn't entirely amused. Full dark attributes are going to be hell. Another notification blinked. Status, temporarily unabsorbable. RMC tilted his head. Temporarily, huh? So one day, I might actually absorb it. Maybe even flip it to our advantage. That could be the key. He mentally reviewed his arsenal like a gamer checking his skill tree. Golden Sun breathing, Yang attribute, check. Divine Thunder tempering, Thunder attribute, check. Crimson Flame blade technique, Yang sub-attribute, Inner Flame, check. Not just high-tier attributes, but perfectly matched techniques. At his current realm, 3-star Ghost Axe, and yeah, there weren't many pioneers out there who could seriously challenge him. He exhaled. But it's still not enough. Dramatic moment. Heavy thoughts. Then his phone rang. The ringtone? Not epic or ominous. Just the standard ding-ding tone that ruined the whole mood. He glanced at the caller ID and groaned. Auntie? Why is she calling all of a sudden? He picked up. Hello, how have you been? Auntie's cheerful voice flowed through the line. Listen, your cousin is coming to study near your place. I don't feel comfortable letting her stay in a hotel. Can she stay at your place for a few days? RMC blinked. Cousin? Right. The study-obsessed straight-A machine. What was her name again? Honestly, I don't even remember what she looks like. Out loud, he said casually. Just have her come over. Spare room's empty. When is she coming? He asked. No need to pick her up. I'll give her your address and she'll come on her own. Auntie replied. Then she chuckled warmly. She'll even bring you some cookies and snacks when she arrives. Should be there tomorrow afternoon. Sorry for the sudden trouble. RMC snorted. Auntie, what trouble? It's fine. A soft chuckle escaped him. I've got things to do, so I'll hang up now. Call ended. Silence fell again, his heavy thoughts still simmering under the mundane request. The universe was tossing anomalies at him one moment and family sleepovers the next. Truly, the balance of life. Meanwhile, at the aunt's house, a girl sat glued to her computer screen, eyes sparkling as she scrolled through one questionable article after another. Harnessing spiritual energy in just 10 steps. Beast challenges in public parks. Totally legal, not really. Death Town, top 5 places to definitely not visit. She was in deep. Like PhD level deep. Right then, her mom, the MC's aunt, pushed open the door. Did you finish packing? She asked, arms crossed in classic mom stance. The girl sighed dramatically. Yeah, everything's packed. But I really don't want to stay with cousin brother. The hotel was fine for me. No. Her mom's tone had the finality of a Supreme Court verdict. It's much safer staying with your cousin than being alone in a hotel. I trust him more than any random staff member. And don't cause trouble there. Help around the house, understood? Ugh, fine. I get it. The girl shoved her mom playfully out the door, shutting it before another lecture could load. Leaning against it, she muttered. One hurdle at a time. Whatever cousin's like, he can't be harder to handle than an anomaly. The next day, phone in hand, she followed the GPS voice like it was divine guidance. You've arrived at your destination. The robotic map announced. She looked up. In front of her stood a big, hotel-style building. This should be the place. She muttered more to herself than the building. Just then, the door opened. Out stepped our hero. The girl straightened and said, Hello? So your name is Linny? He said, pretending recognition. In his mind, I totally couldn't recognize her at all. He led her inside, playing the polite host. So, you came here for the summer camp? Yes. She replied with just enough sincerity to sell it. If you need anything, just call me. Thank you, cousin. He handed her a spare key. Your room's down the hall. I'll be in mine. Linny accepted it with a little bow. Sorry for the trouble these few days. No trouble. he waved it off. But as he walked away, he couldn't shake the feeling. Wait a sec. Is it just me, or is she not hiding her presence properly? Earlier, I definitely sensed a trace of spiritual energy. Could she already be a pioneer? Then that whole summer camp excuse, was it actually just a cover? Suspicion planted, he left. Meanwhile, Linny pulled out her phone and hopped on her secret group chat. Linny, cousin seems nice. Doesn't look like he'll interfere with my activities. When do we move? The group instantly lit up. Greater than 18-year-old sultry woman, don't rush. Keep a low profile. Chaos everywhere. Pollution zones are getting claimed fast. Scammed in online romance for 50 cents, true. Last time at the underground river, 2 teams clashed. Some superpowered guy cut out a sun with 1 slash. Forced everyone else to retreat. 18-year-old sultry woman, 1 slash cut out the sun. Are you serious? Definitely an extreme young attribute. High-tier pioneer for sure. Scammed in online romance for 50 cents, it's real. I swear. Linny, that's why we must stay cautious. Spiritual energy revival isn't official yet. Everything's hidden. Who knows how many monster-level pioneers Zia country has. She closed the chat with a final note. Linny, alright, I'll wait for your signal. Then, thinking to herself. Forget it. I've just arrived. Better not cultivate right now. If cousin catches me, it'll be impossible to explain. 3 days later. Our hero was already regretting this. Co-living arrangement. Who would have thought my cousin would actually be a cultivation hazard? Every time he tried to meditate, she knocked. Every time he tried to breathe golden sun energy, the glow threatened to spill through the walls. Even worse, Linny had started cooking. Cousin, dinner's ready, she chirped. Tonight's menu, tomato beef stew, cold cucumber salad, and corn rib soup. Our hero sat down, impressed. Wow. You've been really considerate. Let me do the dishes. No need. She smiled. At least I can do this much while staying here. Too polite, too neat, like she's got housework OCD, he thought. But fine. Let her keep dropping her guard. Only then can I figure out who she really is. Just then, her phone rang. Seeing the caller, he teased. Really? Dinner's ready and you're ditching it for a friend's call? Before she could answer, he stood. I'll leave you two alone. I'm going back to my room. Linny opened her mouth, but he was already gone. She picked up the call. What did you say? Another major world shift tomorrow? She repeated, voice serious. After a pause. Okay. I'll be there by 3. Let's meet at the entrance of Yonghua Town. Outside the window, our hero crouched, eavesdropping like a pro. Yonghua Town? That trendy suburb spot? Just an hour away. Perfect. Inside, Linny began cultivating. Golden energy flared faintly around her. Our hero grinned in the shadows. Knew it. My cousin's a pioneer too. Already at 2-star Ghost Axe realm? That's crazy talent. No wonder she's weird. And this whole summer camp excuse? Definitely cover for the world shift. His eyes glinted. Every world shift is an opportunity. A new chance to grab techniques, power, treasures. Whatever appears in Yonghua Town, it's all mine. With that, he dashed off at full speed, so quickly Lin Yi's eyes snapped open. A faint unease lingered. That was strange. Was someone watching me just now? The scene shifts to Yonghua Town, where we find Linny. Beside her stands a girl with the most tragic username in the entire group chat. Scammed in online romance for 50 cents. She wastes no time, leaning toward Linny with a teasing grin. So, you've been crashing at your cousin's place these past few days, right? Tell me honestly, hot or not? Linny, thinking of our mysterious protagonist, replies with all the seriousness of a witness giving testimony. Honestly, he's a good guy. Looks wise. Well, he's nothing extraordinary. Definitely not the kind of impressive man you'd swoon over. More like a pretty boy. Hearing this, scammed in online romance for 50 cents looks crushed. Well, that's a letdown. She mutters, as if she just discovered her favorite K-drama star was secretly bald. Before Lenny can say more, another group member strides over. A self-proclaimed 18-year-old sultry woman, the kind who probably adds sultry to her username unironically. She smirks and says, Don't forget, Lindy once described herself as just an ordinary girl too. More members shuffle in, including a boy sitting a bit farther away who suddenly shouts like a bored dungeon master. Alright, since everyone's finally here, let's get down to the main issue. Lenny interrupts, raising her hand like a schoolgirl in class. Wait. She's not coming again? The boy shakes his head, expression flat. Still only 6 of us. She's not coming. Sultry woman shrugs, already used to the absentee member's mystery. She's always been like this. Let's just move on. And so, the little band of pioneers heads off toward their destination, completely unaware that our true hero is lurking at a distance, watching quietly like a ninja stalker with better hair. As he observes, his spiritual sense picks up their energy. My cousin's team is pretty low-key. Weakest one's at 2-star Ghost Axe realm, that guy over there's at 3-star. And apparently they've got some powerful member who barely ever shows up. His gaze then shifts upward, to the mountain above Manhwa town, where something truly bizarre is happening. A massive vine is descending from the sky. Not a thunderstorm, not an earthquake, just a giant green noodle from the heavens. Think Jack and the Beanstalk, except this thing doesn't bring magic harps or golden geese. It just exists. The vine doesn't release thunder. No blazing light. No destruction. It simply drifts in and out of reality, as though it's buffering on bad Wi-Fi. Lin Yi's team arrives at the site, staring up at the anomaly. My god. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it. Sultry woman whispers, sounding less sultry and more terrified. Behind her, scammed an online romance for 50 cents bites her lip. Wait, maybe we shouldn't go any closer. Linny blinks. Why not? Because. The girl swallows hard. My whole body just went cold. You guys saw the internal forum rumors, right? Last time this vine showed up, a whole team tried to make contact. Strong pioneers, way above my level, but none of them came back. Not even bones left behind. The corrupted aura in the air presses down on them like a funeral dirge. Scammed an online romance for 50 cents clutches her head, spiraling into panic. This isn't just some random event. This is a high-level world anomaly. Unknown. Dangerous. Terrifying. I wanted to gamble like a pioneer, get rich or die trying, but the moment I saw this vine I know I'll die here. I want to withdraw. Her teammates sober up at her outburst. Lin Yi, ever the calm scholar, nods. You're right. We feel it too. This type vine, it's strange. It feels like it's been drowned in the river of time, like all life has perished, vitality stripped away. Instead of giving energy, it wants to devour ours. She grips her hand tightly and adds solemnly. But this is the path of martial pioneers. Meanwhile, our hero, still watching from the mountain, grimaces. Out of all the anomalies I've seen, besides the dark attribute ones, this vine is the worst. It's supposed to be a plant, a symbol of vitality. But it feels dead. Like a corpse pretending to be alive. Back below, Linny rallies her team. Friends, we don't have much time. Let's not get reckless. Spread out, sense the energy, but stay within sight of each other. Don't wander too far. Obediently, the group disperses. Linny perches atop a tree branch, beginning her cultivation. Our hero nods approvingly. Not bad. She chose the optimal range, cautious but efficient. Truly worthy of being a top student. Moments later, Lin Yi's energy surges, spiraling into the sky. She's about to break through. Already reaching 3-star? My cousin really is a genius. Down below, her teammates cheer. 3-star Ghost Realm. But celebration is short-lived. The vine suddenly stirs. Its roots slither forward, homing in on them like a predator. The boy leading them pales. This is bad. The vine sensed us from this far away. Sultry woman gasps, voice trembling. It's coming straight for us. In an instant, the vine lashes out, snaring some of them and draining their energy like a mosquito with a gym membership. Run! Run for your lives! Scammed an online romance for 50 cents screams. Lin Yi's breakthrough caused too much disturbance. If that vine grabs us, we'll be drained to nothing. The vine slams against Lin Yi's protective shield. Cracks spiderweb across it. Panic erupts. Most of the team bolts. But sultry woman grabs scammed an online romance's wrist. No! If we run, Lin Yi will die. And what do you expect me to do? Scammed an online romance snaps back. Donate my spiritual energy so she can level up while I get turned into compost? No thanks. Ignoring her, sultry woman turns to the group. We can't abandon her. The boy leading them glares, cold and pragmatic. Don't be naive. Life and death are fate. Wealth is heaven's will. We're all just casual teammates here. If we don't leave now, we'll all die. Before he can finish, smack. Sultry woman slaps him across the face so hard his dignity flies off into another realm. To hell with you. I won't abandon my comrade. And with that, she charges toward Lin Yi, while the rest of the group flees in the opposite direction. Up in the mountains, our hero stood dramatically at a cliff's edge, gazing down at the chaos below like some tragic opera performer. His brows furrowed, his eyes sharp with urgency. My cousin probably doesn't even realize the danger she's in. He muttered with that trademark heroic concern. She's still just a student, and that vine's power, TCH, even I'm not sure I can handle it with my current strength. But, he gripped his sword tighter, his aura sparking to life. A promise is a promise. I swore to Auntie I'd look after her daughter, and if I fail now, she'll never let me eat dinner at her place again. With that terrifying motivation, he drew his heavy sword. Determination blazed in his eyes like a cultivation novel cover illustration. Meanwhile, below, a sultry beauty had already dashed in to save Lin Yi. With elegance that could make even a demon blush, she hacked her way through the vine, until, of course, the vine got annoyed and wrapped her up too, At the same time, Lin Yi's little shield shattered like cheap glassware, leaving her exposed. And just as the vine was about to serve Cousin Yi as a leafy snack, whoosh! Our hero dropped in from above, sword infused with blazing yang energy, and struck. His strike burned the vine instantly, the flames of his yang power so fierce that the vine shrieked like a cat in bathwater, retreating at once. The two teammates who had been halfway through their cowardly escape froze mid-run. Their jaws dropped. Wait, it's retreating? Holy, look at that glow. Is he another pioneer? Indeed, the hero's yang energy lit up the cavern like a heavenly disco ball. His aura was so overwhelming that one of the fleeing boys started having an existential crisis right there. He thought bitterly, I'm considered a prodigy. 3-star Ghost Axe realm in record time. Barely anyone in the country compares. Even Lin Yi isn't that far ahead of me. But this guy crushed me. Crushed us all. What even are we compared to him? Stars trying to shine under a blazing sun? More like glow sticks under a supernova. Meanwhile, the sultry woman shaded her eyes against the brilliance. That's pure yang attribute, she whispered in awe. Only something that high tier could suppress a desolate vine. Of course it's him. And then, ding! A crisp system notification popped up in front of the hero. Detected extreme wood attribute. Initiating auto-writing. Processing complete. Before he could even sigh about how convenient the system was, wood energy surged into his body, filling him with vitality. A huge grin stretched across his face. Incredible! This wood attribute technique, it's basically a perpetual battery. As long as there's life nearby, I'll never run out of juice. Auntie, you can forget about me ever needing chicken soup again. The system wasn't done though. Another message flashed. Currently extracting secondary attribute, desolation. Warning, drains all surrounding life force. The hero's smile twitched. Then a powerful green aura burst from his body, pulsing with vitality and menace. No wonder this vine grew here, he mused grimly. If it had sprouted in a village, it would have drained miles of land dry. Tyrannical. Terrifying. And now it's mine. As he admired his new loot, the sultry woman stumbled toward him, her eyes wide, her voice trembling with gratitude. Thank you so much for saving us, big brother. If not for you, we would have surely died. How can we ever repay you? Our hero waved his hand casually, as if saving lives was just Tuesday. No need. I'll be going now. He turned away, his cloak, that he definitely didn't have before, flapping dramatically in an imaginary breeze. Inwardly, though, he was grinning like a thief. Heh, all I did was piggyback off their intel, kill one oversized vine, and now I've got infinite vitality and desolation aura. Honestly, I profited the most out of all this. As for their little squabbles? Not my circus, not my monkeys. Better to keep an eye on Cousin from now on. Behind him, the survivors could only watch in stunned silence. None dared to speak. Their pale faces showed it all, awe, fear, and the dawning realization that they just met a walking cheat code disguised as a man. Our hero leapt away, mind clearer than a monk after 5 cups of green tea. Danger, after all, has a funny way of stripping away masks, showing who's truly dependable and who's just good at posing in team photos. And this team? Well, let's just say a sack of drunk chickens would have been more organized. Left behind, scammed an online romance for 50 cents. Yes, that's his name, and yes, it's tragic. Fidgeted nervously and asked the captain. He left so quickly. So, what do we do now? The captain sighed, the kind of sigh that suggested both disappointment and constipation, before replying. What's the matter? Regretting not helping him earlier? Too late now. With him gone, Lin Yi's advanced to the 3rd level. Our best option is to cling to this team like leeches at a spa. His gaze drifted to Lin Yi, who was deep in cultivation. She sat serene, wrapped in a faint shield of aura that looked sturdy enough to repel mosquitoes but already had a few cracks. Still, moments later, boom, breakthrough achieved. Energy surged around her like she just downed 3 cans of Red Bull. The 18-year-old sultry teammate practically launched herself forward, squealing. Lin Yi! You finally woke up! The captain gave her a glance, then leaned toward nervous 50 cents, whispering like a conspirator in a cheap drama. Now it depends on her. If she's rational, she won't burn bridges with us. But forget that for now. Focus on that mysterious man. He's the real problem. Lin Yi blinked groggy from her cultivation nap, and stared at the scene. Why are 2 of our teammates dead? And also, why do these vines look like they auditioned for a horror movie? Before anyone could answer, a wave of scorching yang energy blasted from behind. Even at a distance, it felt like someone had turned the spiritual thermostat to oven. The captain stepped up, looking all serious, and said, Allow me to explain. And explain he did. Later, Lin Yi walked home, brain buzzing with the captain's words. A mysterious powerhouse had appeared, flat in danger, and left without so much as a business card. Supposedly, even the feral vine that had been terrorizing them now floated in the sky like a chastened balloon, refusing to come back down. The vine scared like a chicken, the captain had said with reverence. And that man was a monster. Shaken, Linny reached her apartment. She opened the door and found, surprise, surprise, our hero waiting with a smile as casual as if he'd just come back from buying dumplings. "You're back," he said warmly. But spotting her pale face, he asked, "You okay? You look like you just binge-watched a tragedy marathon." Linny quickly fibbed. "Just tired from studying." The hero nodded. "Good effort. Should we order takeout?" She agreed and scurried to her room, closing the door like she was hiding state secrets. Collapsing on her bed, she muttered, "Breakthroughs are exhausting. Wielding the divine axe takes more mental power than cramming a semester's worth of physics overnight." She scrolled her phone. Because naturally, enlightenment and doom didn't stop anyone from checking notifications. That's when a new message from Yahello appeared. "If any trace of that powerhouse appears, notify me immediately." Linny froze. Yahello never messaged. Carefully, she typed back, "Got it. By the way, do you think the person who saved us was the one from the Dark River Molten Dragon incident? And if so, why would he save us?" Her fingers hesitated, then hit send. Meanwhile, cultivation news headlines popped up. "Breaking news, a tribute god returns. That slash pierced the sun. Heaven's light devoured in white blaze." Lin Yi's jaw dropped. If these reports were true, then her mysterious savior was less, senior, and more. Walking apocalypse. Meanwhile, outside, our hero had already hopped onto his trusty bicycle, yes, a cultivator's weapon of choice apparently, and pedaled off, scheming. Lin Yi's guard should be down now. She won't suspect me watching her. Next step, the desolation attribute. He mused as he rode, narrowly dodging pedestrians. The desolation attribute was plant-like yet sinister, corrosive even, basically the bad boy of attributes. Jamming it straight into his body might turn him into spiritual Swiss cheese, especially since it clashed with the thunder attribute. No, the best way is through something like that ghost vine. It evolved on its own when the spiritual energy revived. That's what birthed desolation. His eyes gleamed. He knew exactly where to go. With a grin, he shifted gears and sped through the streets like a delivery rider on a mission. Destination, the city's forest park. He strolled into the park grinning like a man about to pull off a magic trick. Leaning close, he whispered to himself, "Time to pick a plant that vibes with my spiritual energy. Come on, lucky green soulmate, show yourself." With a flourish, he unleashed his wood attribute aura. A soft green glow burst from him, spreading out like an eager spotlight. Instantly, flowers, shrubs, and even a couple of old trees leaned toward him as though he just announced he was handing out free snacks. The plants weren't just reacting, they were begging. Leaves trembled, petals quivered, and the grass even looked like it wanted to crawl closer. Our hero raised an eyebrow. "So this is how plants flirt back with spiritual energy? Bold move, Mother Nature." "But," he frowned. Still not enough. Determined to turn up the volume, he poured out more energy. And then, bam, a tiny wildflower in the grass began glowing brighter than the rest, pulsing like a disco ball at a spiritual rave. Curious, he crouched down. Could it be the chosen one? He stretched out a finger, gently touching the flower. To his surprise, the little blossom curled around his fingertip, clinging like a clingy puppy. Our hero blinked. "Wait, it's nuzzling me? This is a flower, not a golden retriever." The flower shivered happily, like it couldn't get enough of his aura. Stroking it gently, he whispered, "Out of this entire forest, you're the one who loves me most. Perfect candidate to carry the desolation attribute." He grinned. "I'm ready. Are you ready?" The flower bobbed up and down like it was saying, "Heck yes." Closing his eyes, he funneled energy into it. Ding! System notification, embed desolation attribute into this object? Yes. The moment his power flowed in, the flower lit up like a firecracker. Leaves sprouted, its size swelled, and a frightening aura spilled out, rolling over the garden like a toxic wave. The lush green paradise shriveled instantly. Trees wilted, bushes withered, and within seconds the whole place looked like it had been fast-forwarded straight into post-apocalypse mode. Our hero gawked. 3 seconds. It only took 3 seconds for this thing to drain the whole park? That's way too overbearing. This isn't a flower, it's a demon in disguise. Panicking, he lunged forward to yank the thing out of the soil. But just as quickly, he froze. Wait, if I keep this up, the Spirit Energy Association will be on me faster than loan sharks on payday. This is the city center. Of course it's crawling with surveillance. Still, he ripped it out anyway. Yet even rootless, the flower refused to chill. It kept absorbing energy from everything around like a toddler with an endless juice box. He stared in disbelief. Even without soil, it's still eating? Can it survive like this? But now its greed was oddly tender, like gentle sipping instead of crazed slurping. He smiled faintly, stroking its leaves. Unbelievable. Just a wildflower before, but now, after embedding an attribute, it's evolving. Like I've unlocked its Pokemon evolution stage. Then, flash! Blinding light flooded the area, and a siren wailed. Warning, warning, abnormal value exceeded. Warning. Our hero's grin froze. Crap. He clenched his jaw. They noticed. Time to run before I end up as Exhibit A in some research lab. Without another thought, he bolted out of the park at full speed, clutching the overpowered flower like a man making off with stolen treasure. Meanwhile, alarms blared across the city. Inside the Reiki plant research department, chaos erupted. Scientists spilled their coffee, slapped on their wristbands, and scrambled into protective suits. Abnormal value skyrocketing, one technician shouted. What the heck happened out there? The head researcher slammed the desk, voice booming. Seal the park immediately. Nobody enters. Nobody leaves. Within minutes, a whole squad in white hazmat suits was charging toward the scene. The moment they arrived, one of the researchers checked his instrument, and his face turned the color of spoiled tofu. This is terrifying, he stammered. Earlier at King Cheng's North Gate, the readings had spiked at 810. When they encountered the Dark River Molten Dragon, it had barely hit 25. But here. Exactly! Another member cut in, his voice shaking. Once spiritual energy concentration hits 10, the military usually storms in with tanks and heavy artillery. And this park? It never even came close to 10 before today. Every member clutched a device that looked like a love child of a Geiger counter and a selfie stick. One of them jabbed a probe into the soil and muttered, bewildered. Strange. Humidity, normal. Ground moisture, normal. Sunlight, also normal. Radiation levels? Nothing unusual. But these plants. He bent down, staring at the shriveled grass. It's like their life force was vacuumed out in seconds. The group exchanged uneasy glances. Someone whispered the question that was sitting in everyone's throat. What kind of attribute could do this? Before anyone could answer, a man sprinted over like he'd just seen his ex with someone richer. His face was pale as death. Don't move forward. Don't touch it. This is the desolation attribute. The word detonated like a grenade. Faces blanched. Knees wobbled. One poor intern nearly fainted. Desolation attribute? Someone croaked. What's that supposed to mean? The team's old professor, beard flowing like he'd stepped straight out of a cultivation painting, cleared his throat dramatically. You've all heard the legends of the sky-hanging vines, haven't you? Every pair of eyes froze. Someone muttered in horror. You don't mean the demonic vine? The one that was classified as an A-level mutation? The professor nodded grimly. Yes. Because of its extreme danger, it was given A-rank status. Countless explorers entered its domain, only to vanish without leaving behind so much as a tooth. Its true terror lies in this attribute, desolation. It drains the life from everything around it. That is the nightmare we face. The word sank in like a bucket of ice water. One trembling rookie turned to the professor. Teacher, if I'd taken one more step earlier, would I already be, fertilizer? The old man's gaze hardened. Yes. Once a plant awakens the desolation attribute, it creates a death domain. Anyone inside will have their life force completely sucked dry. I've read the records. In Kong City's ancient tree zone, one decay tree corrupted the entire forest into a forbidden wasteland. Any creature that entered was instantly pierced through, drained, and spat out like yesterday's tea leaves. The group fell into grim silence. Even the wind seemed to hush in respect. But then, a hand clapped down on the professor's shoulder. He spun around, and nearly tripped on his own beard. Major Han! The man in question, dressed in military garb so crisp it could slice bread, stepped forward with ice in his eyes. All researchers, put on protective suits. Follow us into the contaminated zone. Soldiers rushed in, handing out masks and hazard suits like it was Black Friday at the Apocalypse Mall. They combed the forest, scanning every corner. No trace of the desolation source here, one soldier shouted. Could it be moving? Another muttered nervously. Weren't we told only the vine could? Before panic could spiral, another voice cried out. The desolation aura is decreasing. It's already dropped to 25. Meanwhile, at the forest's heart, Major Han and Su Qinging weren't wearing protective gear at all. Cool as cucumbers in a freezer, they knelt, pressing their palms to the soil. Their spiritual energy spread underground like a radar sweep. It led them to a single spot, then abruptly stopped. Both froze. Su Qinging's voice quivered. That place, that's where. Enough. Han cut her off, his tone grave. Someone dug it out. The researchers gasped. Someone whispered. Dig it out? Impossible. No one survives touching a desolation plant. Han's eyes narrowed. He whipped out a device, the screen glowing ominously. Big data analysis confirms this. The same person has appeared at both previous anomaly sites. The screen lit up with an image. A familiar face. Su Qinging stiffened. Her heart skipped. It was him. Han's voice dropped low. This man may be the pioneer you encountered before. His identity must be confirmed. Su Qinging stared at the image for a long, quiet moment, then murmured firmly. Good. That's how it should be. 2 hours later, our hero, blissfully ignorant of the military hunt, sat at home humming while potting a flower. The same flower. He stroked its leaves like a proud parent. My first time raising a flower, huh? Can't just let you sit in a plastic bag. Here's your own little pot. A proper home. The plant sat quietly, now branded with the terrifying desolation attribute. The hero chuckled. You're my most reliable helper now. And with that plain face of yours, nobody will ever suspect you're secretly the grim reaper of greenery. His expression turned sharp. In real battles, raw strength is one thing. But hidden trump cards? That's where you win. Ding! His phone buzzed. Caller ID, Old Wang. He blinked. Old Wang? That brat from next door? The one who joined the army 3 years ago and vanished? Memories surfaced. Desks shared since childhood, dumb pranks, fights over snacks. He grinned and picked up. So you finally remembered me, huh? On the other end, Old Wang's cheerful voice boomed. Meet me at the old place. Got a big secret for you. Don't faint when you hear it. Click. Call ended. The hero stared at his phone, scratching his head. What's that guy plotting now? Cut to Old Wang, very much not plotting pranks, standing stiffly at attention in front of Su Qingying and several officers. He reported crisply. Mission complete. He took the bait. But if he's not the target, can you guarantee his safety? He's my friend. The officer beside Su Qingying didn't even blink. Your mission is all that matters. If he's not the one, then treat it like a friendly reunion. Nothing more.
Our hero arrived at the little roadside bar his old friend had told him about. It wasn't anything fancy. A flickering neon sign, a smell of cheap liquor, and 2 mismatched stools wobbling like they'd been through several battles themselves. And there he was, Wang Liang, already halfway to the bottom of a bottle, looking like a man trying to drown 3 years' worth of military trauma in one night. Our hero blinked. Well, would you look at that? The goofy Wang Liang I knew actually looks kinda mature now. Life in the army must have been rough. Before he could say anything, Wang Liang, red-faced and slightly tipsy, lifted his glass and sighed the sigh of a man who'd seen things. Possibly his sergeant's ugly underwear. Brother, these past 3 years, I've felt a lot. Life in the army. He trailed off, his expression halfway between wise and wobbly. Our hero chuckled and replied, I've been doing alright too. Got into junior college, not too bad, huh? He said it with a grin, but inside, his mind wandered to darker memories. In my past life, he thought, I never saw Wang Liang again. In the chaos of war, he probably died somewhere no one even remembered his name. But maybe this time, I can change that. Just then, Wang Liang leaned forward, suddenly serious. The alcohol had apparently taken a quick smoke break. Hey, recently, have you seen anything weird? Like zombies, monsters, you know, movie-type stuff? Our hero froze mid-sip, then slowly placed his glass on the table. So that's how it is. The military must already know about the spiritual energy revival. Is he testing me? Feigning confusion, he replied. Huh? What are you talking about? Wang Liang rubbed his forehead. Good. If you haven't, that's better. He lowered his voice. Listen, the reason I came today isn't just for drinks. I came to warn you. I'm not trying to scare you, but in the near future, maybe a few months, maybe a year, everything we value now, money, education, social status, all of it's going to become worthless junk. The world's going to be reshuffled from scratch. Our hero's mind went into overdrive. So it's true. The army must already know. They're even sending soldiers to probe for signs of people like me. And poor Wang Liang, he's risking punishment just to warn me. Before he could say anything, Wang Liang's phone suddenly blared to life. Wang Liang! Get back in 10 minutes! Urgent mission! Move! A voice screamed through the speaker. Then click, call over. Wang Liang shoved his phone into his pocket, stood up so fast his chair almost saluted, and said hurriedly, Brother, I've got to go. Mission's urgent. I can't send you off. Our hero rose too, his expression suddenly serious. Is this about the revival of spiritual energy? That question hit like a grenade. Wang Liang froze, eyes wide. For a moment, even the neon sign outside seemed to stop flickering. But then our hero stepped forward, placed a firm hand on his shoulder, and smiled. Relax. Take me with you. This meeting wasn't just coincidence, right? Your higher-ups sent you. But don't worry, I know you wouldn't harm me. Inside, he thought, besides, this is the perfect chance to peek behind the curtain. The Army, the Spiritual Energy Association, both dealing with the new world in their own ways. I've got to see it for myself. And with that, as Wang Liang hesitated between loyalty and panic, our hero's grin widened. The world's changing again, and this time, I'm not sitting on the sidelines. The ride to Forbidden Zone 19 was anything but peaceful. The deeper they went, the heavier the air became, thick, humming, alive. Our hero couldn't help but frown. This spirit energy density, it's insane. It's thicker than a polluted field. You could practically chew the air. Wang Liang, as usual, strutted ahead like he was on a coffee run instead of entering a high-risk military zone. He flashed his ID card at the checkpoint. The soldiers guarding the gate straightened up instantly. Wang Liang back from leave. Verification complete. They stepped aside. The moment the two crossed the threshold. Boom! The ground exploded beneath them. Smoke and dust shot into the sky like a volcanic sneeze. Alarms blared. Soldiers shouted. And when the smoke finally cleared, a monster stood in the middle of the chaos. A hulking beast, half flesh, half nightmare, glowing with dark red energy lines that pulsed like molten veins. Soldiers were already engaging it, firing bullets, hurling bursts of spirit power. The creature just roared, and its mouth fired a laser beam. Because apparently, physics had taken the day off. Our hero's eyes went wide. Wait, that's a fusion attribute. A calm yet commanding voice answered from behind him. Correct. Darkness and flame, a deadly combination. He turned to see Officer Jialan, the same woman who'd interrogated Wang Liang earlier. She was all cold authority, crisp uniform, ghost axe insignia gleaming, eyes sharper than a blade. Several soldiers have already been injured. She continued, her tone steady even as the ground trembled beneath them. Just then, Wang Liang came sprinting up, slamming a fist to his chest in salute. Reporting in. I've arrived. Jialan's expression twisted faster than lightning. You idiot! You brought a civilian into a restricted spirit zone without authorization. Are you trying to get court-martialed? Wang Liang froze, sweat beating at his temple. Surprise field trip? Jialan glared so hard he almost combusted on the spot, but after a moment she exhaled sharply. Forget it. We don't have time for this. Get in formation! Then she turned her icy gaze to our hero. So this is Fangyi. Humph. I don't see anything special. Spirit energy response barely detectable. Maybe he's not the one. But she shook her head. Whatever. Since you're here, I'll keep it simple. This is a forbidden zone. From the moment you stepped inside, your life and death are your own problem. And whatever you see here stays here. Understood? Our hero smiled faintly. Crystal clear. Good. Now stay out of the way. Jialan barked out orders. Soldiers moved with mechanical precision. Team Alpha, suppressive fire. Team Beta, spirit barrage on my mark. Two soldiers unleashed brilliant waves of spiritual energy that slammed into the beast. Jialan followed up, drawing her pistol with practiced grace. Bang bang bang. 3 to 4 shots struck the creature squarely, each bullet glowing with runic energy. The beast howled in fury, shaking the entire field. Its aura darkened, flames erupting from its body as soldiers shouted in panic. It's mutating! It's evolving again! Oh great! Our hero muttered. Just what we needed. Pokemon Evolution, Nightmare Edition. The monster lunged, claws flashing, eyes blazing. A soldier screamed. Li! Watch out! But before the claws could strike, Jialan fired again, bullets cutting through the air like meteors. Keep your distance! She roared. Do not let it complete its evolution! Our hero watched quietly, arms folded, even as chaos erupted around him. A disciplined unit. Perfect coordination. Every soldier trusts the others completely. Together, they fight like one living organism. He smiled. Beautiful. But this isn't enough. Suddenly, his expression darkened. Everyone, fall back! He shouted. You can't fight that thing head-on! But it was too late. From the beast's body burst a violent wave of purple energy, exploding outward like a shockwave of pure death. Jialan's voice cut through the roar. Raise the alert level! Forbidden zone mutation level, Gamma! No retreat authorized! The soldiers braced themselves. The creature, now fully mutated, loomed like a demon out of legend. Jialan shouted. Careful! The Hellhound has completed fusion, darkness attribute fully integrated. Our hero's heart seized. Wang Liang was standing right in front of it, frozen in terror. Wang Liang! Move! Jialan screamed. But he couldn't. His body refused to obey. Our hero clenched his fists, lightning flickering around him like angry fireflies. Damn it! The beast roared and swung its claws. Wham! Wang Liang was sent flying, crashing to the ground near our hero. Blood splattered across the dirt. Wang Liang! Our hero dropped to his knees beside him. His friend coughed violently, blood staining his lips but a faint grin on his face. Don't worry about me. I just reinforced the restraining collar with my spirit energy. He coughed again. We, the soldiers of Forbidden Zone 19, don't back down. Seeing his friend broken and still trying to stand, something snapped inside our hero. Lightning roared to life around him, the air crackling with fury. His calm smile was gone, replaced by raw determination. The battlefield was chaos, explosions, smoke, and the unholy roars of the mutated hellhound tearing through the air. Officer Jialan barked her orders with a voice like steel. Everyone! No matter what it takes, whatever tactics or methods, even if it costs us our lives. But before she could finish, a streak of blue lightning shot past her. ZZZZTT. Her words caught in her throat as her hair whipped in the sudden wind. Wait, what the HEY? What do you think you're doing? Our hero didn't answer. He was already gone, a blur of crackling light charging straight toward the beast. The soldiers barely had time to blink. "Is he insane?" one shouted. "He just ran into a Class B monster alone." But our hero wasn't insane. He was furious. Lightning coiled around his arms like living serpents, his eyes blazing like thunderclouds ready to burst. His rage crackled in the air, sharp, electric, unstoppable. "You hurt Wang Liang," he thought, "and for that you pay." He dashed forward, leaving scorch marks in his wake, and roared. "You're far too arrogant. Time to shatter that pride of yours." The hellhound roared back, its molten red eyes flaring with hatred. It swung its claws, slicing through the air, each strike powerful enough to tear steel apart. But our hero? He vanished. In the blink of an eye, he was already behind the beast. Lightning danced across his fingertips, gathering, condensing, howling to be unleashed. "Divine thunder," he whispered, voice low and dangerous. "Descend!" The explosion of lightning that followed lit up the entire zone. Boom! Thunder roared across the battlefield as the hellhound's massive body was sent crashing into the ground. The shockwave tore through the earth, hurling dirt and debris high into the air. Even the soldiers had to brace themselves to avoid being thrown off their feet. When the dust settled, the creature lay half buried in a crater, still twitching, electricity sparking across its charred hide. Silence. Absolute silence. A young soldier's voice trembled, breaking the stillness. Was I seeing things? That was a Class B mutation, right? Even Officer Jialan couldn't take it head on. No one answered. Jialan herself stood frozen, standing beside the battered Wang Liang, her sharp eyes wide with disbelief. Wang Liang, half conscious, managed a shaky grin. "Officer, don't tell me my brother is actually..." Jialan cut him off, her voice tense, almost reverent. "Yes, none of us saw wrong." She exhaled, eyes locked on the figure standing amidst the smoking crater, lightning still crackling around him like a god descended from the storm. "He truly is the tyrant we've been searching for." The battlefield was quiet now, eerily quiet. The massive beast that had terrorized Forbidden Zone 19 lay sprawled across the shattered ground, its charred body twitching weakly, refusing to accept its fate. Even half dead, it tried to rise again. Our hero stared down at it, eyes cold, voice steady. "Still not dead? Then I guess we'll do it the hard way." He turned slightly. "Officer Jialan, Old Wang, both of you fall back." From a distance, Jialan's heart tightened. A B-level mutation, and he's handling it solo? Normally we need an entire formation, coordinated spirit cannons, and at least 3 noble sacrifices. Her jaw clenched as she watched. This isn't just power. This is mastery. The pinnacle of the thunder attribute, maybe even the top across the entire Xia kingdom. If spiritual energy ever fully revives, what kind of monster will he become? Up ahead, our hero slowly raised his right hand. The air trembled. The sky darkened, clouds twisting into a colossal vortex. Lightning gathered above like 1,000 dragons preparing to strike. Crack, boom! Thunder roared as a storm of blinding lightning tore through the heavens, slamming down onto the beast. The entire zone lit up like day. The creature shrieked once, and was no more. Jialan's breath caught. Her chest tightened with awe and dread. He truly lives up to the title. Tyrant. That name suits him perfectly. As the storm faded, the soldiers stood frozen, staring at the smoking crater where the hellhound had been. One soldier swallowed hard. I think my neck just went cold watching that." Another trembled. "Why does lightning feel 100 times scarier than darkness? I could handle corrosion, but that? Nope. I'm out." Then, slowly, the hero turned around, calm, unbothered, hands in his pockets like he hadn't just nuked a B-class monster. Wang Liang came running, face full of relief and disbelief. The hero grinned and gave him a thumbs up. "Wang Liang, I did it." Wang Liang let out a shaky laugh, eyes misty. "You bastard. You scared me half to death." He ran up and slapped his friend's shoulder. "I never imagined my big brother would turn out to be this much of a monster." The hero smirked, brushing off the hit. "Oh? I hit the dog and you hit me? That's how we're doing things now." Sorry." Wang Liang scratched his head, embarrassed. "I actually suspected you were a pioneer. Orders from the higher-ups. I had to bring you in." The hero chuckled, placing a hand on his shoulder. "What? After 3 years, you're talking like we're strangers. You think I don't know you by now?" Before Wang Liang could reply, a familiar voice spoke behind them. "Fani." They turned. Officer Jialan was walking toward them, uniform slightly scorched, eyes sharp as ever. She extended a gloved hand toward him. "Thank you," she said simply. "For your help." He smiled and shook her hand. "No need for thanks. Just think of it as saving a friend." She nodded slightly. "Forgot to introduce myself earlier. I'm Jialan, commander in charge of Forbidden Zone 19. You didn't just save a friend, you saved the entire zone." Her tone softened just a fraction. "I'd like to exchange contact information. I'll need to make a full report about this incident." "Of course," he replied casually. Beside him, Wang Liang grinned so wide his face might split. Watching a senior officer salute his childhood friend, now that was something to brag about for the rest of his life. Jialan turned serious again. Fan Yi, your power surpasses most of the pioneers the army's ever recruited. Therefore, I sincerely invite you to join the Xia Kingdom's military. But, she hesitated. An invitation from a mere restricted zone guard might not be worthy of your level. Not worthy. Even as she said it, her thoughts swirled. He's only at the 3rd star of the ghost carving realm, yet he's already fighting beyond the spirit creation tier. How is that even possible? Our hero raised an eyebrow. So you're saying even you don't feel qualified to invite me? Jialan nodded firmly. Yes. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. We were only ordered to understand your situation, not involve you in this fight. But I believe the higher-ups will come for you personally soon enough. He smiled, his tone warm but teasing. It's not that serious. Actually, I really respect you all. Not everyone has the courage to risk their lives protecting others. I've never seen soldiers fighting up close before. And honestly, it moved me a little. Jialan's stern gaze softened. Thank you? He laughed lightly. So, if there's ever trouble in the future, feel free to call me. You protect civilians in peace. I'll protect you when things get messy. Deal? Then, with that mischievous glint in his eyes, he added. Of course, on one condition, no restrictions on my cultivation, and no one gets to boss me around. Jialan didn't argue. She simply nodded. Understood. Our hero stretched, glancing toward the smoking horizon. Well then, I should get going. Jialan returned his nod. All right. Wang Liang and I still need to process the Hellhound's corpse. I'll have someone escort you back. As he walked away, the cool breeze brushing past his face, our hero's thoughts grew quiet. So that's the army's true role, stationed in these dangerous, energy-rich regions. Both to train in the densest spirit zones, and to stand between humanity and the chaos beyond. He smiled faintly to himself. Not bad. The world really is changing. Meanwhile, Jialan turned toward Wang Liang, her expression thoughtful yet grave. Your friend, she said quietly, can no longer be described as just not simple. What we saw today, that was only the tip of his iceberg. And even that fragment alone was enough to leave the rest of us far behind. Her eyes lingered on the battlefield's remnants, scorched earth, lingering sparks of thunder essence still crackling faintly in the air. To rise as such a powerful pioneer in so little time, that takes more than talent. It's fate, courage, and an iron will. He lacks none of them. Beside her, Wang Liang chuckled, his usual grin returning. Officer, in that case, can't we just increase our offer? If you don't think you're the right one to recruit him, then let me, his childhood friend, handle it. Jialan smirked and pressed her palm against the top of his head. All right, you brat. Less talking, more cleaning. Come help me handle the aftermath. Yes, ma'am. Wang Liang replied cheerfully, already rolling up his sleeves. That night, the story shifted to our hero's apartment. He sat cross-legged in the dimly lit room, lightning-shaped sigils faintly pulsing along his arms. His breathing was calm, but within, spiritual energy surged like a rising storm. He reflected silently. My identity may have been exposed, but I only revealed my thunder attribute. Judging from their reaction, that might not be a bad thing. If anything, I've confirmed something important. Thunder is rare. Perhaps even unique. And it directly restrains the darkness attribute, the military's greatest concern. They won't suppress me. No, they'll try to win me over. Influence, access, resources, all the paths to power will open. Now I understand the balance between the army and the Spirit Kai Association. The Night Watchers, blades hidden in the dark, are the nation's shield. The association, though, are the quiet hands that sweep the cities clean, ensuring civilians can live peacefully. Both are necessary. He paused, his gaze steady. The restricted zones, they're not just defenses. They're also gateways, signs that the world's spiritual energy is awakening again. The government is buying humanity time. Time to adapt. Time to survive. As he cultivated, the air around him began to tremble. Spiritual energy poured into his body in torrents, converging into his core. A bright current of lightning surged through his veins. He clenched his fists, feeling the explosive power building within. A grin tugged at his lips. As expected of a spiritually rich forbidden zone. Even after absorbing the desolation attribute, I wasn't close to breaking through. But now, I can feel it. My core is overflowing. The moment's here. Outside, the night sky suddenly lit up. Across town, Linny was strolling through the market, arms full of groceries, humming to herself. Why hasn't my cousin come back yet? If he had, I'd definitely make him try my cooking. But her words died on her lips as she looked up. A blinding pillar of light was shooting skyward from the direction of her cousin's apartment. Spiritual pressure washed over the streets like a tidal wave, shaking the very air. Her eyes widened. That aura, someone's ascending! The realm of ghost carving, no, wait, this power. A thunderous boom echoed across the city. A colossal golden axe of pure energy tore through the clouds above the apartment, gleaming like a divine weapon. Gasps spread through the crowd as everyone turned toward the spectacle, shielding their eyes from the blinding glow. Linny stood frozen, heart pounding. It moved. The spiritual projection itself moved. Wait, that's not the Ghost Axe realm. This energy, it's the spirit creation realm. Her voice trembled with disbelief. To think, such a powerful pioneer was living right next to me this whole time. At that very moment, deep within the Xia Kingdom's military command center, alarms erupted in unison. Warning! Warning! Abnormal energy reading detected. Fluctuation levels, 99. Repeat, abnormal value has reached 99. Red lights flashed across every screen as holographic maps of the city lit up with pulsing crimson zones. Magnetic field detected, 5 kilometers southeast of the city, shouted a technician. The high-ranking officer stared in disbelief. What's going on down there? Barked one of the commanders. No one had an answer. The entire control room was a storm of movement, officers relaying data, soldiers shouting coordinates, analysts frantically trying to stabilize the readings. Elsewhere, at a nearby command post, Su King, leader of the observation corps, slammed her hands on the console. Such an overwhelming fluctuation! How could something this powerful have escaped detection? Her eyes darted over the glowing data streams. These readings, they're strong enough to wipe out an entire city. The atmosphere grew heavy. Across every military base, chatter filled the air. One officer stared at the map, voice trembling. Could this be the birth of a new spirit creation realm pioneer? Another muttered darkly. Or the prelude to a catastrophic disaster. Inside the chaos, a senior officer seized his communicator and shouted. Request reinforcements from headquarters immediately. Mobilize all advanced resources and weapon systems, everything except weapons of mass destruction. Before the order could even echo away, a soldier burst through the command room doors, panting. Major Han! The alert's been lifted. Everyone turned toward him at once. What? Han demanded. The soldier straightened, saluting sharply. The source of the anomaly has been confirmed. It's not a threat. A pioneer has just broken through to the spirit creation realm. A stunned silence swept through the room. The tension bled away, replaced by quiet awe. Back in the city, within his apartment, our hero slowly opened his eyes. Electric blue sparks flickered across his fingertips. The oppressive energy that had once filled the air faded into stillness. He had done it. He had stepped into the spirit creation realm, 1 star. As the lingering light faded, he exhaled, shoulders relaxing. Ha, so this is the spirit creation realm. Other than feeling lighter, it doesn't seem like much has changed. His expression softened with a wry smile as he picked up his phone. Notifications filled his screen, reports of abnormal energy surges, military alerts, and countless chat messages from the organization's network. Among them, a familiar name caught his eye. Lin Yi. She'd been posting in their group chat, her tone anxious. He scrolled through the messages, thinking to himself. Wang Liang was right. This is exactly why I've stayed cautious, both of the military and the Spirit Kai Association. Too much attention only brings trouble. That's why I've kept my Solar Flame attribute and the Scarlet Fire Sword technique hidden. He typed a short reply. Don't worry. I'll handle it. I still have a trump card left. It was signed simply, Fong. Just then, the door creaked open. Linny stepped in, carrying a food container. I'm back, she said brightly. Cousin, have you eaten? I brought you something. He looked up briefly from his phone. All right, just leave it there. I'll eat later. Linny sighed softly, setting the food on his desk. She gazed at him, lightning still faintly flickering in his eyes, and thought to herself. Cousin's so disciplined, no bad habits, no arrogance, but he's so lazy. She shook her head helplessly as he continued scrolling on his phone, completely absorbed. All he does is stay home, glued to his screen. Doesn't even bother going to college. She mused quietly. But maybe that's fine too. Before leaving, she glanced at him once more, unaware that she was looking at one of the most powerful pioneers alive. Back in her own room, Leni collapsed onto her bed, her mind still racing. A spirit creation realm cultivator appeared in this very district. The pioneers will spread the news soon enough. Forget it. When the time comes, I'll protect cousin. It's the least I can do after all he's done for me. Meanwhile, in his room, our hero remained focused on his screen. He was studying new abnormal activity reports, all recent, all fire-related. Last time it was high temperatures. He muttered. This time, it's a fire again. Solar attribute confirmed. He tapped a video attachment. Flames erupted across the screen, consuming a playground in seconds. The trees, the flower beds, all reduced to ash. The area's sealed off already. He noted. The video cuts off too fast, but this fire's far stronger than the one at the north gate. His eyes narrowed, lightning flashing faintly within them. If this solar attribute really is different, I need to see it for myself. He picked up his communicator, expression sharpening. But first, I'll have to contact her. The next morning, Qingxiang University looked less like a campus and more like a crime scene from a blockbuster movie. Media vans clogged the streets. Reporters swarmed the gates like hungry pigeons. Soldiers stood stiff and stoic, blocking entry with expressions that clearly said, "Don't even think about it." Whispers buzzed through the crowd. "Hey, I heard the university caught fire and no one can put it out," one reporter asked a soldier. His colleague leaned forward eagerly. "Were there any casualties? Why hasn't this been on the news? A whole university burning is kind of important." Nearby students argued passionately. "Is it safe for us to even be here? Safe? Brother, even the grass inside is probably on life support. I told them to ban flammable materials on campus. No one listened. And then the crowd fell silent. A soldier at the gate stiffened, saluted, and swung the gate wide open. Because Jialan walked in. Beside her walked our hero. Instantly jaws dropped. Who are they? They look important. Why can't we go in, but that random guy can walk in like he owns the place? As the doors opened, the blazing inferno inside came into view. A swirling sea of golden flames devouring everything in its path. Our hero stared at the fire, eyes wide. Burning like this. Is this a fire from heaven? Jialan nodded, completely calm as if they were discussing the weather. Yes. That's the official classification. Appears without warning, impossible to extinguish, and it only stops once it's consumed whatever it desires. Very poetic, very deadly. Then she looked at him. Fan Yi, I need to meet the principal. Will you wait here or come with me? I'll stay here. He replied. Jialan gave him a meaningful look. Be careful. We'll regroup later. And with that, she left. The area was deserted, cordoned off with barricades and warning signs. Our hero crouched, touching the scorched ground. Cold. Completely cold. No lingering energy, no remnants of heavenly fire chi. I thought I might be able to collect some. Too optimistic. Just then, a startled voice rang out. Fan Yi? Is that really you? He turned. Chu Qingli. Beside her stood her friend, a girl with glasses, a pointed chin, and the personality of a malfunctioning loudspeaker. She jabbed a finger at him instantly. Hey, is that him? The ex-boyfriend you told me about? The guy who only made it into a community college? She burst out laughing, slapping Chu Qingli's shoulder like she was trying to dislocate it. Brother, I understand now. You still have feelings for Qingli, don't you? But please, look at reality. Look at yourself. Do you honestly think you stand a chance? Our hero blinked slowly. Lingering feelings? For her? More students gathered, sniffing drama like sharks sensing blood. Isn't that Chu Qingli? Who's that dude with her? Probably another desperate admirer. He doesn't even look like he's from our school. Security needs to do their job. Why are random people just walking in? The glasses girl marched right up to him, finger practically touching his nose. Qingli is our university's goddess. Defending angel. Campus belle. Whatever you people call it. She has suitors lined up from the gate to the cafeteria, all better than you. So leave. This place isn't for you. She huffed, eyes narrowing suspiciously. And we're under lockdown. So how did you get in? If you can't explain yourself, I'll report you to security. Chu Qingli looked conflicted. Didn't he swear he'd never regret breaking up? Then why is he here? Is he chasing me again? Before the drama could escalate, Jialan returned. Her presence hit the crowd like a pressure wave. Students fell silent. Even the loudspeaker girl's fingers slowly drifted downward like a defeated antenna. Jialan raised an eyebrow. Fan Yi, are these your friends? He shook his head calmly. No. Just high school classmates. Not friends. Jialan nodded, a faint smile playing at her lips. Ah. I see. Just classmates, not friends. She then turned her gaze to Chu Qingli and the glasses girl. Her expression became ice. The two girls froze instantly. One thought flashed in both their minds. This woman, who is she? Why is she speaking so casually with Fan Yi? Then Jialan stepped beside him. I finished speaking to the principal. The situation with the heavenly fire is far more complicated than expected. He wants us to investigate the exact point where the fire first emerged. She looked at Fan Yi seriously. And since your current identity is that of a specially invited military consultant, you'll need to accompany us. Fan Yi nodded. No problem. Just then, a thunderous command echoed from behind them. Everyone step back. During the fire lockdown, no one is allowed anywhere near the playground. The firm voice cut through the noise. The crowd instinctively turned, and froze. Standing there was the university principal himself. A wave of gasps rippled through the students. Chu Qingli's pupils shrank, her face stiffening as disbelief flooded her mind. The principal, here? They say he's busier than a dragon, seen once in a lifetime. Even vice principals struggle to meet him. And he never smiles. Ever. Her gaze flicked unconsciously to Jialan and Fan Yi. Could it be? Did he come because of them? Beside her, the girl with glasses curled her lips into a smug grin and whispered. Heh. The principal actually showed up. Maybe he's here to arrest those two intruders. But the next second, the principal walked straight past everyone. Straight toward Fan Yi. He stopped in front of him, extended his hand, and smiled. "Hello? You must be Advisor Fong," he said warmly. "The Officer Jai recommended you to me." The principal's tone turned sincere. "These past few days, the university has been plagued by abnormal incidents. I've been deeply worried the fire might endanger our students. It's a great relief that you're here." He paused, then lowered his head slightly. "The matter of the playground. I'll be counting on you." The bow wasn't deep, but it was unmistakably respectful. The security guards reacted instantly. "Everyone, please return to your dormitories. There's nothing more to see here. Disperse at once." The crowd was ushered away, but the shock lingered. Chu Kingli stood rooted to the ground, her mind blank. The students nearby erupted into hushed chaos. "Did you see that?" The principal bowed to him. At his age? To someone that young? No wonder he could walk straight into campus. That kind of treatment. Someone scoffed softly. "Earlier, who said he was just Chu Kingli's ex?" Ridiculous. Even if she chased him, there's no way she could catch someone like that. Another voice chimed in. "Did you notice? He didn't even look at the campus bell once." Chu Kingli's fingers clenched. She couldn't move. She couldn't breathe. Ahead, Fan Yu walked alongside the principal and several military officers as they moved deeper into the restricted area. As they walked, the principal explained gravely. "After the golden light at the academy's north gate dissipated, we thought the situation had stabilized. But a few nights ago, one of the playgrounds suddenly ignited. Fire trucks were dispatched, but the flames couldn't be extinguished. Fortunately, it happened late at night. No students were present, and we sealed off the area immediately." His expression darkened. One playground catching fire could still be dismissed as coincidence. But then the second, the third. "I personally witnessed flames falling straight from the sky. Scarlet fire floating in midair for no reason at all." He exhaled slowly. "The other playgrounds eventually went out. Only this one never did." They stopped. Ahead of them, a playground burned like a living furnace. Golden red flames roared, warping the air itself. The choking stench of burning rushed forward. Fan Yi's eyes narrowed. "This basketball hoop?" he asked calmly. "Is it the initial ignition point?" The principal nodded heavily. "Yes. Only here. The fire has never once gone out." At that moment, Jialan stepped forward and took out a small, palm-sized device. Seeing it, Fan Yi raised an eyebrow. "What's that?" She replied seriously. "An abnormal spiritual power detector. Think of it that way. If the threshold exceeds 10, ordinary people must be kept away. Human life is fragile. For normal civilians, anything above that level is already a natural disaster." The device beeped. A number flashed on the screen. 60. Jialan's face drained of color. "This is far too high. This won't do. If this continues unchecked, not only Qingxiang University, the entire city will be affected." Her voice turned urgent. "We must immediately dispatch 3 Ghost Axe and 3 2-star soldiers, plus 7 Ghost Axe and 2 3-star soldiers, to form a suppression array. We need spiritual power of the purest kind. Cultivators with the most solid foundations." As she spoke, the principal suddenly noticed something. His gaze snapped forward. Fan Yu was already moving. Without hesitation, he vaulted over the chain barricade surrounding the playground, straight toward the flames. "Advisor Fong! Advisor Fong!" Both Jialan and the principal shouted at once. Too late. The fire swallowed him whole. He stepped directly into the inferno. The detector shrieked. The number jumped violently. 60-110. Jialan's breath caught. "It's rising, again! 110! Her voice trembled. "This threshold already qualifies as an S-level anomaly." He went in alone. "What do we do now?" She tried to rush forward. But the flames suddenly surged outward, releasing a sinister, oppressive aura that slammed into her like a wall. She was forced back. Jialan stared ahead, horrified. How could he dare enter alone? Even the strongest war king of the restricted zone wouldn't attempt this so recklessly. Meanwhile, Fan Yi advanced steadily into the heart of the blazing inferno, walking straight toward the very center where the fire was erupting. With every step forward, waves of scorching heat crashed against him. As he moved, his thoughts remained calm and precise. Last time, the Yang attribute shielded me from lightning. Naturally, this heavenly fire can be blocked as well. But while the attribute protects my body, I still can't directly touch the source flame. Nor can I activate techniques within its core influence. That means I must get as close as possible, first. Just as he reached the central zone, the flames suddenly twisted. Fire surged upward, condensing violently into the shape of a dragon. With a deafening roar, it lunged straight at him. Fan Yi's eyes sharpened. He raised one hand and pressed forward, forcibly resisting the raging energy. The moment contact was made, a system notification flashed before his eyes. Detected intense Skyfire attribute fluctuation. Fan Yi laughed. Worthy of being Skyfire, he said calmly. Even more violent than the desolate force of death. His gaze hardened. But no matter what, I'm absorbing you. Veins stood out on his forehead as pressure mounted, his body clearly under strain. Then, another notification appeared. Ultimate calculation blade initializing. Compilation in progress. Compilation successful. A smile curved at the corner of his lips. Immediately afterward, a third notification surfaced. You have obtained Skyfire Attribute Technique. 9 Dragon Skyfire Sealing Technique. 9 Dragons Descend. Skyfire eradicates evil and seals all demons. In that instant, Fan Yi fully acquired the Skyfire attribute. Power surged upward from his core, erupting toward the heavens. Another message appeared. 9 Dragon Skyfire Sealing Technique. Boom. 9 chain-like constructs burst from his back. They shot outward like divine restraints, instantly binding the dragon-shaped flames. Moments ago, the inferno had been raging uncontrollably. Now, it was completely ensnared. Outside the playground, both the principal and Jialan witnessed the scene. Their expressions changed instantly. That aura! Jialan whispered in shock. It's the breath of seal, but the sealing aura is almost identical. Within the inferno, Fan Yi tightened the chains. The flames screamed. The vast sea of fire began collapsing inward, compressing rapidly. In moments, the dragon-shaped inferno shrank into a small, trembling cluster. Finally, Fan Yi reached out and grasped it in his hand. The fire was sealed. Silence descended. The playground that had been engulfed in hellish flames just moments ago now lay calm and eerily normal. The principal immediately stepped forward. Fan Yi looked at him and said firmly, I've temporarily sealed the Skyfire here. Do not unseal this playground. Do not rebuild it. And do not allow anyone to approach. As long as it remains sealed, the Skyfire won't spread. The principal nodded solemnly. Rest assured. The playground will remain sealed. After all, he added with a faint smile, the academy has more than one playground. Jialan said nothing. She simply watched Fan Yi, her gaze sharp and unreadable. With a faint smile, Fan Yi remarked, King Bei really is extravagant. 7 or 8 playgrounds in total. The principal laughed. Advisor Fan, you're truly humorous. If you ever need anything. Before he could finish, Jialan stepped forward. Principal, I need a moment with Advisor Fan. The principal chuckled. Of course. I won't disturb you. With that, he took his leave. Jialan moved closer, her voice low but keen. Fan. You've been hiding very deeply. Fan Yi smiled lightly. It was troublesome. Skyfire isn't easy to deal with. Her expression turned serious. Stop pretending. I'm talking about your talent. Your realm. She sighed softly. Forget it. Every pioneer has secrets, especially someone as strong as you. I don't have the right to demand anything from you. She continued. But I hope you'll listen to what I'm about to say. Fan Yi nodded calmly. At this critical turning point, Xia Nation desperately needs top-tier talents like you. Jialan said solemnly. When spiritual energy fully revives, someone like you will be the equivalent of nuclear deterrence today. Whether it's the military restricted zones or the Spiritual Energy Association, everyone will fight to recruit you. And foreign powers will do the same, offering unimaginable conditions. She met his gaze. I won't deny my own intentions. If you join the military, our restricted zones gain another pillar. That's why I suggest you start thinking about it now. When the time comes, don't let yourself be caught unprepared. Fan Yi asked curiously. Then why didn't you or Wang Liang try to pull me into your restricted zones? Why even say I wasn't worthy? Jialan sighed. Because there's a legendary military district. They are monstrous. That's why I thought you'd be more interested in them. Fan Yi smiled faintly. So there's an even higher level. Jialan nodded. Yes. Though I've never met them myself. I've only heard they've been extremely busy lately. Fan Yi fell silent. If even the strongest military force in Xia Nation is overwhelmed, then the anomalies they're facing must be terrifying. Jialan spoke again. Enough. Come on. The principal wants to treat us to a meal at King Chan University's cafeteria. As Fan Yi followed her, his thoughts grew heavier. If they're struggling too, then the threats out there are far beyond what most pioneers can handle. And from Jialan's tone, there are others at the spirit creation realm, perhaps even stronger than me. The revival of spiritual energy is accelerating. My preparations still aren't enough. His gaze lowered to his palm. Skyfire, chaotic, unrestrained, burning endlessly. The perfect weapon against proliferating anomalies. A spark ignited in his eyes. Yes. This is the ideal match for my Crimson Flame Blade technique. Enchantments that amplified destruction. The more, the better. Fan Yi advanced toward the back mountain, his massive blade resting in his hand. He stopped just behind a weathered warning sign planted at the foot of the peak. Dangerous mountain beyond this point. Entry strictly prohibited. His eyes narrowed. No abnormal activity detected here, yet the area has been sealed. The military wouldn't have reacted this quickly. Which means... His thoughts sharpened. Only someone who knows this is where I train and experiment would block it off. The Spirit Association. A faint smile tugged at his lips. Did they give me this land to experiment freely? If that's the case, accepting their offer might not be a bad idea. Suddenly, his expression changed. He felt it. Something was behind him. Wait. Even trash has managed to sneak into the back mountain. An aura brushed against his senses. Cold. Foul. This presence. It's the same one I encountered at the factory, just weaker. High above, perched casually on a tree branch, sat a monkey-like monster, its crimson eyes watching him with unsettling intelligence. Faani slowly raised his blade. Flames began to coil along its edge. So, he murmured, you've learned to assess enemy strength before attacking. He lifted his gaze. Then watched carefully. A system notification appeared before him. Heavenly Fire, also known as Upper Flame. Attribute, Light. Nature, Righteous, Destructive, Eternal. Primary use. Slaying wicked entities. Do you wish to infuse Heavenly Fire into the Tang Blade? Yes/no. Faani selected yes without hesitation. The Heavenly Fire ignited instantly. Unquenchable. Relentless. Flames engulfed his eyes, reflecting a blazing gold-red glow. He smiled faintly. Let's test this sword on you. He swung. The blade howled. From the arc of the strike, 2 fire dragons erupted, pure heavenly fire given form. They roared as they surged forward. The monkey monster shrieked in terror. Barely escaping death, it leapt frantically from tree to tree, fleeing deeper into the forest. The ground behind it erupted into flames. Faani watched calmly. Excellent, he examined his blade. This firepower is at least twice as strong, no, far stronger than the original Crimson Flame blade. And most importantly, he flexed his fingers. This energy doesn't affect me at all. The air around him suddenly grew icy. The forest fell unnaturally silent. No other monsters revealed themselves. Faani narrowed his eyes. So where did that trash run off to? He stepped forward. Let's hunt it down. Meanwhile, high up in the mountains, a girl was live streaming. She laughed nervously into her phone. Guys, I swear I'm not a scammer, okay? I've been lucky since I was a kid. This is literally my first day streaming, and content just keeps finding me. As she spoke, a shadow loomed behind her. The monkey monster dropped silently from the trees. Her phone slipped from her hand and hit the ground. The live stream didn't stop. The monster grabbed her. The camera tilted, capturing everything. The chat exploded. Streamer? What was that? Did she just see a ghost? LOL, the acting started way too suddenly. These effects are so fake. They thought it was a skit. But the girl's tears were real. Fear crushed her chest. I'm going to die. Just as the monster raised its claws, 2 fire dragons burst through the forest. They slammed into the monster from behind. With a shrill scream, it released the girl and fled. The chat froze. Then exploded. What the hell? Was that a fire dragon? Bro, this CGI is insane. The live stream view count skyrocketed. Shaking, the girl scrambled to her feet, grabbed her phone, and aimed it at the flames. Through the roaring inferno, she saw a figure, standing calmly within the fire, sword in hand. To her, it looked as though a god had descended. An immortal walking through flames. The image streamed live across the world. The chat went insane. Blade lunge, instant light cuts through fire. An immortal descended to save people. Fire? That's nothing to him. The man who split the king of flames, one blade. The forest burns. The live stream shot to #1 worldwide trending. Views surged beyond imagination. Elsewhere, Chu Kingli sat with her bespectacled friend. Suddenly, her friend gasped at her laptop. Kingli, come quick. An immortal really descended to save someone. Cultivation experts are real. Heavenly fire is real. Without looking, Chu Kingli replied coldly. Don't believe that nonsense. It's all staged, special effects. Then her eyes drifted to the screen. She froze. Her breath caught. She recognized the figure instantly. Her friend, oblivious, clapped excitedly. See? I told you! This is insane! Chu Kingli forced her expression to remain calm. This video is fake, she said stiffly. All effects. But inside, fear crawled up her spine. Impossible. That can't be him. It just looks similar. If it really were him, he'd have been burned to ashes by now. Her fists clenched. And if it really is him, would he take this chance to get back at me? Her jaw tightened. No. I'll never bow my head. The scene shifted once again. This time, to the 81-year-old sultry woman and Lin Yi. Both of them were staring at the same live stream. Flames. A blade. A figure standing calmly within the inferno. The sultry woman narrowed her eyes, then turned toward Lin Yi. Doesn't he look familiar? She asked slowly. Like the pioneer who saved us from those vine creatures? Lin Yi's gaze darkened. I was thinking the same thing, she replied seriously. And recently, I found out that a top-tier expert who broke through to the spirit creation realm lives near my place. She paused, then added quietly. Could they be the same person? The live stream played endlessly across screens everywhere. In another place, a young girl leaned toward the boy beside her, eyes shining. Old lie, don't you think that's Fong? She whispered. He looks even stronger now. The boy swallowed hard and nodded. Damn right. That blade swing. It's exactly the same. He grinned with all. We really latched onto a monster-level big shot. The narrative shifted again. Inside the Spirit Association headquarters, a heavy silence filled the hall. Several seniors sat gathered around a long table, expressions grim. The city's crisis is drawing closer, one elder said slowly. And our pioneers are severely understaffed. Others nodded, voices overlapping with concern. Then another senior spoke. I heard the military already held in-depth talks with Fang Yi. At that, Su Qinging immediately spoke up, her tone firm. I trust him, she said without hesitation. He'll definitely help us. Nearby, Jilon leaned back in her chair, murmuring with a mix of awe and disbelief. To reach the spirit creation realm in such a short time. She exhaled. What kind of monster is he? Even anomalies tremble before him. And how many high-level attributes does he even have? At the main seat, Han leaned forward, fingers interlocked. 3, he said calmly. Maybe more than 3. He straightened, his voice steady and decisive. With potential like that, our current threats are nothing more than clown antics. Recruiting him is the only logical choice. Jilon looked up sharply. You mean, the higher-ups plan to approach him personally? Han nodded, but his expression remained cold. Yes. But they're not quite ready to lower themselves yet. After all, every top pioneer before Fang Yi had risen from within the military. Standing up, Han continued as he walked away. Let's see what he lacks. New weapon prototypes. Specialized training environments. All of it can be provided. He paused. And handle the live stream. Every copy. Every trace. Su Qinging lowered her eyes slightly. The entire Spirit High Circle of Xian Nation is already focused on him. Jilon, meanwhile, smiled faintly. That kid. He really makes you look forward to what he'll do next. The scene shifted again. Inside a hospital room, a badly injured man lay unconscious on the bed. Beside him sat a young woman, holding his hand gently. Teacher, she whispered softly. Xian Nation has a new hope. With someone this powerful appearing. She smiled faintly. Your chances of waking up have improved again. 1 day passed. Morning sunlight filtered into Fang Yi's apartment. He sat at the table, eating breakfast, his thoughts still tangled in yesterday's chaos. That live stream. Who would have thought a streamer would sneak into the back mountain just for clout? What guts. And yet, the video had vanished completely. The live stream. The reposts. Every trace erased. Military, or the Spirit Association. He muttered. Then his eyes flicked toward the door. Wait. Lenny didn't come back last night. She didn't even send a message. His brow furrowed. Even if it was a mission. He grabbed his phone and tried calling her. No connection. Again. Nothing. Outside the service area. His expression darkened instantly. That girl wouldn't be this careless. Unease crept into his chest. This is bad. He stood up sharply. I need to find her, now. The scene shifted again. Deep within the forest. Lin Yi and the 81-year-old sultry woman were trapped. Blood stained their clothes. Their breaths were shallow. Trembling, Lin Yi asked quietly. 81, how long have we been stuck here? The sultry woman shook her head weakly. About 10 hours. I've lost track. Her voice cracked. I'm sorry. I dragged you into this. At first, I thought it was just an ordinary shadow wraith. Lin Yi shook her head firmly. No more apologies. Her gaze hardened. In the end, I'm still not strong enough. She steadied her breathing. Stay alert. Conserve energy. Her thoughts drifted unconsciously. Active that day. Standing on the street. Looking up into the sky. Watching his breakthrough. That overwhelming presence. That power. If only I were that strong. But before the thought could finish, danger crept closer. A presence loomed behind them. Silent. Predatory. The monster appeared. The moment it saw them, it raised its claws. Lin Yi sensed it instantly. Behind us! She turned sharply. A laser-like beam burst from her hands, slicing through the darkness. One head fell. But then, they saw the truth. The creature's body was covered in heads. Twisted. Fused together. As if countless corpses had been stitched into one. The monster collapsed briefly. The sultry woman trembled. These, she whispered. Are these the people who got trapped here? Lin Yi's expression turned grave. They're no longer human. They've become abnormal walking corpses. She clenched her fists. It's playing with us. It wants to drag us down with it. The severed head dissolved into black fog. The sultry woman's voice grew heavy. Not only are our attacks ineffective, our spiritual energy is being drained rapidly. She looked around in despair. We don't even know where the real body is. It's waiting for us to exhaust ourselves. And then, her voice trembled, toying with us like rats. Black fog churned in all directions, sealing off the forest like a living prison. It swallowed sound, light, and distance alike. Within it, the monster could not be seen clearly, only felt, making it seem utterly invincible. Lin Yi and the 81-year-old sultry woman stood back to back, breathing heavily. Their nerves were stretched to the limit. Neither of them knew how to fight something they couldn't even properly perceive. Then, a red, circular eye opened within the fog. The moment it appeared, it began releasing bubbles that looked like coagulated blood. As they drifted outward, the bubbles burst one by one, transforming into countless tiny, liquid-like eyes that floated in the air, staring at them from every direction. Go to hell, damn creature! The sultry woman screamed, unleashing her attack in rage. Lin Yi's expression changed sharply. It's losing patience. Don't get careless. But the warning came too late. Behind Lin Yi, within the fog, a gigantic eye silently opened. In an instant, she felt it. Countless gazes locked onto her. Her vision warped. Reality fractured. Hallucinations flooded her mind, drowning out all other sensations. A bone-deep terror seized her heart, as if death itself had already decided her fate. From the fog, numerous blackened hands stretched outward, grabbing at her limbs, dragging her down into the darkness. I can't hear 81 anymore, Linny thought hazily. So this is how it ends? Regret washed over her. I was too reckless, too confident. I thought the two of us could handle this mission alone. But the path of cultivation had always been cruel. She had known this day might come, disappearing in some nameless corner of the world. I wonder, what will the world look like after this? What role will the hidden pioneers play as spiritual revival surges forward? She would never see it. Her eyelids slowly grew heavy. She tried to lift her hand, but her body no longer obeyed. Then, boom! Lightning tore through the darkness. A blinding bolt ripped the fog apart, its radiance shredding the black mist like paper. From within the lightning, a figure emerged. Our hero stood there, smiling faintly as he looked down at her. You almost slipped right out of my hands, he said with a laugh. Lin Yi's eyes widened in shock. At that moment, he was already right in front of her. He stepped forward and slammed his lightning-charged hand into the ground. Crack! A devastating surge of lightning exploded outward, annihilating the fog in a single strike. Lin Yi stared at him, stunned. My cousin. He saved me. This wasn't an ordinary person. But before she could process it, the monster reformed. Its grotesque body of countless eyes and dark energy lunging toward him. Be careful! Lin Yi shouted desperately. The abnormal's true body is on your right rear side. Our hero merely chuckled. He drew his sword. Perfect, he said calmly. Let's see how heavenly fire handles darkness. With a single swing, flames erupted, condensing into a roaring fire dragon. The blazing dragon crashed into the monster. Roar! Darkness screamed as it burned. Fire engulfed the forest, purging the black fog completely until nothing remained. The abnormal was erased. Not long after, the sultry woman groaned and slowly regained consciousness. Yee, she muttered weakly. Are we already dead? Then her eyes flew open. She stared at the sea of flames around them. Holy crap! What is this inferno? She screamed. Did we fall into hell with the abnormal? Calm down, Lenny said quickly. Look carefully, we're still alive. The sultry woman froze, then laughed in relief. We're alive. Her gaze shifted, and landed on our hero. Who are you? She asked cautiously. He sheathed his sword and replied casually. All settled. Finally. And I haven't even had breakfast yet. Then he glanced at Linny. You too. The sultry woman's pupils shrank. She stepped closer, her voice trembling. It's you, isn't it? Back in Manhwa town, at the Death Vines. You were the one who saved us. Our hero smiled helplessly. Am I really that easy to recognize? Linny suddenly stepped forward, stunned. Wait, are you saying the powerful fire tribute master who saved you is my cousin? The sultry woman's jaw dropped. Oh my god! That super expert is your cousin? Didn't you always say he was ordinary? Our hero rubbed his forehead. Then the sultry woman grabbed Lin Yi's arm excitedly. This is the man who split the wasteland with one strike. Forced Uncle Ghost Axe 3 stars to his knees. He even caught Sister Jylin's attention. Lin Yi's thoughts exploded. Fire attribute, lightning attribute, both at terrifying levels. Could he be a dual attribute genius? Wait. Could the spirit creation master in our district actually be him? Our hero cut in. All right, enough. I have a question. He looked at them seriously. You know a dark attribute abnormal can't be handled like a normal one. So why did only the two of you come? Where are your teammates? The sultry woman sighed. Wu Mao fell seriously ill. His family locked him down. Uncle had a harder mission. The rest, we don't always act together. Linny added quietly. This time was my mistake. I thought breaking through to Ghost Axe 3 stars would be enough. Our hero nodded thoughtfully. This team won't last much longer. He looked at Linny. Back then, 81 wasn't satisfied with her teammates. Yet now she defends them. That's loyalty. And you've already sensed what's coming. He paused. Since you both know who I am and I trust you, how about we form a team? But this stays secret. The sultry woman's face lit up. Really? Of course. My lips are sealed. Linny smiled warmly. Thank you, cousin. Tonight I'll cook 2 extra dishes. Just then, her phone buzzed. Sister Gallon messaged me. Extreme Dark Zone mission notification. Collect required items. Dark attribute related. Think carefully before applying. Linny explained. The Extreme Dark Zone lies within the nation's forbidden dark borderlands. The dark attribute there is overwhelming. Even the government hasn't fully explored it. Our hero's expression turned solemn. Then we should try. Ask her what the objective is. 81 scoffed. Sister Gallon never explains. Another message arrived. Objective, withered bloom flower. Reward significantly increased. Danger extremely high. Team required. Then one final message appeared. This mission may involve an S-class abnormal. Death rate extremely high. Only register with strong, reliable pioneers. The story briefly shifted to Gallon. She was walking alongside several military personnel, her expression calm as she typed messages into her communicator. As her fingers moved, she murmured softly to herself. That's enough. A faint smile flickered across her lips. Now let's see whether he chooses to come. Back on the other end, our hero raised an eyebrow as he read the message. Strong and reliable pioneers. That's pretty direct. He muttered. It almost sounded like a provocation. I know you. I know someone like you would be interested. Do you dare to come? He turned toward Linny and laughed lightly. Cousin, looks like she's pointing straight at me. A spark lit up in his eyes. Interesting. This extreme dark zone. He grinned. I'd definitely want to take a trip there. I'll swear, Jailon was typing when 2 young women, clearly her escorts, stepped closer behind her. Sister Jailon. One of them began carefully. Their team. Before she could finish, Jailon raised a hand, stopping her cold. It's fine, she said calmly. If he's a pioneer worthy of Zine Nation's trust, he will come. The bodyguard hesitated, then tried again. But if he doesn't come, then this batch of pioneers will. Jailon cut her off, her voice steady and resolute. If he doesn't come, then it simply means the time isn't right. She turned slightly, her gaze sharp. Do you really think the mission to retrieve the withered grace flower is just a way to send powerful pioneers to their deaths? Both girls stiffened immediately. Sister Jailon. But Jailon had already placed the bouquet she was holding onto the table. Her voice carried weight. Only by retrieving the withered grace flower can we save more pioneers, she said firmly. Whether it's the future backbone of Zine Nation, or those who have already fallen, the top-tier core forces whose fates remain unknown. The scene shifted. A hospital room. Jailon stood beside a hospital bed, gently holding the hand of a man lying unconscious. Machines hummed softly around him. No matter what, she said quietly but firmly. We must obtain more withered grace flowers. Her grip tightened. The teacher is the only pioneer in Zine Nation who has reached the Diamond Realm. We must use the flower to heal and awaken him. Her eyes hardened. A Diamond Realm powerhouse in the era of spiritual revival is equivalent to a nuclear weapon today. He is our greatest leverage, before and after the revival, when negotiating with other nations. She inhaled slowly. So even if we have to sacrifice a few forbidden lands, a few squads, or even more pioneers. Her voice did not waver. It's worth it. One of the girls behind her spoke carefully. The mission is important, but your body is also important. Jalen's face flushed with anger. My body? She snapped. Yes, it's important, because my life was given back to me by my teammates. The room fell silent. Realizing herself, Jailon exhaled and lowered her voice. I shouldn't have snapped. Forgive me. One of the girls bowed slightly. Sister Lon, I spoke out of turn. Is your headache acting up again? Jailon raised a hand to her temple, her expression darkening. It's fine, she whispered. The time for medicine hasn't come yet. Her eyes grew distant. This is all in the past now. Blood-soaked memories surged forward. She saw her entire team lying motionless on the ground. One man, his body torn apart, staggered toward her, collapsing at her feet. With his final breath, he spoke. The pitch-black zone truly is terrifying. He coughed violently, blood spilling from his lips. Zolan. The withered grace flower mission. His voice trembled. We're counting on you alone now. For the teacher. For Zine Nation. For everyone. No! Jailon screamed. I'm not going, Captain. The captain raised his trembling hand, releasing the last of his spiritual power. These are our specialties, he said weakly. We hope you can use them. His eyes met hers. You must come back alive. The memories shattered. Tears streamed down Jalen's face as she whispered hoarsely. They gave me their spirit power. Her shoulders trembled. But they didn't know if it's tainted by blood, or if the withered grace flower isn't harvested completely. Her voice broke. Then it's useless. The story shifted 1 hour and 45 minutes later. Our hero, Lin Yai, and the 81-year-old sultry woman had already traveled a considerable distance. The long march had clearly taken its toll. Panting, the sultry woman complained in a weary voice. How many more kilometers do we have to walk? Hey, I'm talking to you, bossy. You people are so strong, can't you just fly a little? Linny replied calmly. Spirit Kai hasn't developed to the point where humans can fly freely. Even pioneers can't. So they continued on foot. After another long stretch of walking, the world ahead of them gradually darkened until a pitch-black zone appeared on the horizon. Our hero narrowed his eyes and pointed forward. We're close. Look ahead. As he spoke, his expression grew heavy. Even from this distance, the dark attribute aura pressed down on them like an invisible weight. Layers of natural barriers surrounded the area, yet the unsettling presence still seeped through. The sultry woman shivered. What a disgusting aura. It's hundreds of times scarier than the anomaly we faced last night. No, thousands. Linny herself felt fear clawing at her chest, but she forced a steady tone. Stay calm. We've already come this far. When they moved closer, they realized they were not alone. Numerous pioneer teams had already gathered near the border of the zone. Seeing the crowd, our hero let out a quiet breath. It's not as bad as I thought. Look. There are so many people here. Linny observed thoughtfully. I don't think it's just about the generous rewards. Dark attributes are tricky, violent, and hostile to humans. But lately, dark attribute anomalies have been erupting inside cities more and more often. Our hero nodded. You're right. I've faced 2 dark anomalies before. One was a mutated rabbit beast, calling it a rabbit is being kind. It was more like a giant rodent. The other was a serpent working alongside a candle knight in an abandoned factory. That one was far more intelligent. They cooperated, set ambushes. Even a Spirit Kai Association squad was nearly wiped out. He paused, his gaze sharpening. The worst part is how cunning they are. They deliberately avoid military border defenses. We don't know how they're doing it, but now anomalies are appearing inside cities more frequently. It's becoming uncontrollable. With that, he stepped forward without hesitation. This journey was no longer optional, it was necessary. As they entered the gathering area, Su Qinging was already there. The moment she noticed our hero approaching, she stiffened and muttered nervously. He came too, and he even brought 2 girls with him. The girl beside her blinked in confusion. Boss, what are you talking about? Su Qinging quickly clasped her hands together and whispered. Amipa. Buddha, please don't let him notice me. Too late. Our hero had already walked up behind her. Captain Su. It's you, right? She turned, forcing a bright smile. Ah, yes. You came to the pitch-black zone too? That's great news. Suddenly, the sultry woman cut in with wide eyes. Great? Who's this girl? Don't tell me she's Yi's sister-in-law. Both she and Lin Yi had completely misunderstood the situation. Su Qinging panicked, waving her hands. No, that's a huge misunderstanding. Our hero sighed. Of course not. She just helps me with errands. Captain Su from the Spirit Kai Association. While they were still talking, another team approached. Their captain looked them over and scoffed loudly. A bunch of bratty kids talking big. Pioneers these days are all so young. No manners. Still joking around here. Do you even know what kind of place this is? I hope you can actually rely on each other once you're inside. The sultry woman immediately flared up and stormed forward. Hey! Watch your mouth, old man. Do you even know who these people are? Before she could continue, our hero gave her a single look. She froze, then instantly calmed down. Walking up to the opposing captain with icy composure, she said, Uncle, mind your own business. Later, it might be you who dies of fright. Just then, a car pulled up. Inside sat Jailon. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Is that Sister Jailon? When she stepped out, the murmurs turned into certainty. Without sparing anyone a glance, Jailon strode straight toward the entrance. The sultry woman whispered, Who is she? Such a grand entrance. Our hero answered quietly. She's the one who will open the gate for us. Jailon walked directly to the portal. In her hand was a crystal. Raising it high, she channeled her power into the structure. A thunderous surge erupted. The sealed gateway burst open, releasing a violent wave of dark energy. The crowd erupted in excited shouts. The gate's open! It's open! From within the portal, thick, sinister energy poured outward, heavy, oppressive, and lethal. Jalen's voice rang out clearly over the commotion. You may now enter. A special reminder, the withered grace flower you collect must be complete and uncontaminated by human blood. If it does not meet the requirements, you will receive no reward. Her eyes swept across the assembled pioneers. If there are no questions, you may begin. Everyone had been waiting for this very moment. The instant the order was given, pioneers began entering the portal one after another. As they stepped through, a few muttered bitterly under their breath. Damn it, she won't go herself, but sends us in to die. Not even compensation if we die. What kind of attitude is that? Another man beside him whispered. Old Deng, keep your voice down. If we die, it'll only be reported as missing. Then the officials will quietly pay your family a large sum of money. Isn't that basically admitting they sent us to our deaths? Nearby, Su Qinging, who was preparing to enter as well, turned to our hero and spoke in a low voice. That middle-aged man earlier, he should be in the same realm as you. First star creation spirit realm. Besides him, there are a few others who look strong, but they're suppressing their spiritual energy, so it's hard to judge. The rest are mostly 2-star and 3-star Ghost Axe realm cultivators with solid foundations. Each team's strength seems roughly balanced. Our hero nodded slightly. Looks like this mission is extremely tough. They actually gathered so many elite pioneer teams. Yet inwardly he frowned. That person just now was also in the creation spirit realm, so why did his spiritual energy feel so shallow? While everyone steadily entered the gate, Jailon remained behind with her team, holding a compact device in her hand. A bodyguard reported beside her. The head count is complete. For this extreme dark zone mission, 37 pioneers in the 2-star Ghost Axe realm, 12 in the 3-star Ghost Axe realm, and 3 in the 1st-star Creation Spirit realm. Estimated mission difficulty ranges from B level to S level. Jailon gave a short nod. All of you, head to the monitors. I've prepared everything. Don't worry. The scene shifted to the interior of the zone. Our hero's entire group had already entered, with Su Qinging accompanying them. As they moved forward, the oppressive energy weighed heavily on everyone's nerves. The air itself felt thick, as if breathing required effort. The moment the sultry woman sensed the surrounding aura, her legs buckled. She collapsed to one knee, her face pale. I'm sorry, honestly, I don't think I can be of any help here. Our hero spoke firmly. Stay close. The dark attribute clouds vision and distorts direction. If we don't move together, we'll get separated and lose our way quickly. Su Qinging stepped beside the sultry woman and said gently. It's all right. What you're smelling is the stench of rotting corpses mixed with brain fluid. You're not the only one who feels like throwing up. It's completely normal. As if on cue, the nauseating odor thickened. Already exhausted, the sultry woman began retching. Soon, a few others nearby couldn't hold it in either. Watching them, Su Qinging explained. The dark attribute naturally restrains pioneers. Think of it as a kind of spiritual pollution. The anomalies in the extreme dark zone are also far more active. Generally speaking, a B-level anomaly equals a Ghost Axe realm pioneer, dangerous, but still manageable. An A-level anomaly is equivalent to the creation spirit realm and usually appears in places where spiritual energy riots or gathers, like here. Her expression turned grave. An S-level anomaly can rival the Vajra realm, or even higher. Those almost always result in large-scale disasters. And there's something else you must remember. Dark anomalies in the extreme dark zone receive an additional boost. A B-level outside may rise at least 1 grade inside. Lin Yi supported the sultry woman by the shoulder and said in surprise. I've never heard it explained so clearly before. I understand now. But Captain Su, are you and your team all right? Still uneasy, the sultry woman added. Yeah, haven't you been polluted at all? Su Qinging summoned a small crystal into her palm and gave a faint laugh. You're overthinking it. My teammates and I deal with anomalies like this often. We're used to the stench. Besides, I've been pushing myself recently. I evolved from a water attribute to an ice attribute. She handed the crystal over. The sultry woman studied it and said thoughtfully. Since we're around the same level. Captain Su, did you feel what I felt? The moment I entered the black fog, my spiritual power weakened drastically, worse than my last mission. Su Qinging's expression hardened. Yes. Many experts have already perished here, even military elites above the 1st-star creation spirit realm. That's why we must be extra cautious. Seeing their condition, our hero spoke calmly. I'll move ahead. Hurry and follow. This mission is too important. Linny quickly added. The people in front are already out of sight. Let's tighten our formation. From here on, I'll talk less to conserve strength. Everyone, focus your spiritual power. Don't give the black fog any opportunity. Our hero didn't reply aloud, But a thought crossed his mind as he advanced deeper into the darkness. Strange, my body doesn't feel as uncomfortable as theirs. Maybe the enhanced yang and thunder attributes I cultivated have a natural dispersing effect on dark energy. Or perhaps after advancing to the creation spirit realm, my spiritual power simply became much stronger. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the dungeon, another pioneer team was already locked in fierce combat with the anomalies roaming the depths. Their captain was the same middle-aged man who had mocked our hero's group outside the portal. After cutting down the last monster before him, he raised his blade and shouted, "The anomalies of the extreme dark zone? Is this all they've got, brothers? These withered grace flowers will belong to us. Let those youngsters see what true strength really looks like." His team roared in response as they pressed forward, eliminating everything in their path. "Well done! Keep moving! Don't slow down." At the same time, our hero's team was gradually weakening under the oppressive dark energy. The suffocating aura gnawed at their lungs. Lenny began coughing lightly, and the others weren't faring much better. Seeing this, our hero turned back. His gaze softened for a brief moment. Still so inexperienced, he thought. He reached out and gently patted Lenny on the back. The instant his palm touched her shoulder, a strand of warm yang spiritual power flowed into her body. The chill receded. The nausea vanished as if swept away by sunlight. Lenny exhaled in relief. This feeling, the cold, the dizziness, they're gone. It's like standing under the winter sun. So warm. Truly the power of the creation spirit realm. Fire attributes really are comforting. Ever since I reached 3-star Ghost Axe realm, my connection to attributes has deepened. My wood attribute is good at absorbing excess spiritual energy from plants. Captain Su, your water evolving into ice is rare too. Our hero shook his head lightly. It's not fire. It's yang. Sorry, I didn't explain earlier. I was the one who caused the fires at King Chang's North Gate and the playground, but those were different anomalies. Yang attribute and heavenly fire attribute have subtle differences. Su Qinging blinked in surprise. You're admitting that so casually? Then you already possess 3 rare high-level attributes? Our hero remained silent, though a thought crossed his mind. There's also the desolation attribute, but a hidden card is always useful. Just then, the sultry woman stepped closer, rubbing the back of her neck awkwardly. I haven't broken through to 3-star Ghost Axe yet, so I can't sense attributes clearly. I'm mostly walking the metal path. Great cousin. I promise I won't mess with you again once we get out. Our hero smiled faintly and placed his hand on her shoulder as well. A wave of yang energy flowed into her body. The oppressive darkness loosened its grip, and her breathing steadied. Other teammates watched in curiosity. What are you two doing? Just feeling energy? Our hero then turned to Su Qinging's group. Bring your team here. I'll do the same for them. Su Qinging nodded with a grateful smile. One by one, he infused them with yang spiritual energy. The group's complexion gradually improved, their shoulders no longer weighed down by the suffocating gloom. Just as the last transfer ended, a ripple stirred in the darkness behind them. Our hero's eyes sharpened. Careful! An anomaly's approaching. Su Qinging reacted instantly, striking toward the rear. Dust exploded outward from the force of her blow. Through the swirling haze, a grotesque monster suddenly materialized directly in front of the sultry woman. Watch out! The creature lunged at full speed. A team member shouted. Class A anomaly! Su Qinging unleashed another heavy strike. The blow landed, but the monster dissolved into shadow, vanishing through a dark element skill. Her expression tightened. This was not an easy opponent. Before they could reorganize, zombie-like anomalies began emerging from every direction, surrounding the entire group. Our hero drew his sword in one smooth motion. Watch your footing. Don't scatter. He stepped forward and roared. Move aside! Flames surged along his blade as he executed 3 swift slashes. Arcs of fire cut through the swarm. The zombies ignited instantly, writhing in silent agony before collapsing into ash. When the last ember faded, he turned back. Temporary safety. That wave's gone. Don't be fooled by the number of eyes, you're only dealing with 2 real bodies. His tone darkened slightly. But I didn't expect this. The anomalies here have already evolved to mimic human language. Su Qinging replied grimly. They've devoured too many humans. Learning speech isn't surprising. Even the weakest among them are nourished by the extreme dark zone. Without creation's spirit realm strength, facing them head-on is suicide. Far away, in a hidden observation area, Jialon watched the scene through her device, eyes widening. 1 strike, and 2 A-level illusion beasts were crushed. Even I would have needed several exchanges. Back with the group, they pressed deeper into the dungeon, leaving the scorched battlefield behind. In the center of the formation, the sultry woman sank onto a rock, breathing heavily. Lenny spoke softly. If what Captain Su said is true, we must stay together. Otherwise anomalies could disguise themselves, slip into our ranks, and strike when we least expect it. The others urged gently. Come on, you need to stand. We can't stop here. Our hero observed quietly, unease flickering in his chest. This suppressive aura, it's even stronger than the cat demon and those zombies. Just brushing against it feels like it could burn me alive. Is this the pressure of a higher realm? Breathing itself is becoming difficult. Then he sensed something else. Faint rhythmic. He turned his head. Linny stepped closer, brows furrowed. Do you hear that? Up ahead, is that the sound of waves? Our hero didn't answer. At that very instant, the thunder of the battlefield shifted. Beyond the choking veil of darkness, another squad burst into view, their formation shattered, their voices trembling with panic. Fall back! Stop attacking! That thing isn't human, it's a disaster! One of them screamed as bursts of energy shot wildly from their weapons. Their attacks struck the advancing shadows, yet the shadows did not slow. They only thickened, like a living storm rolling across the dungeon floor. Our hero narrowed his eyes, watching in silence. From the black horizon surged a swarm of winged creatures, bat-like anomalies blotting out the dim light above. Their screeches merged into a single deafening roar. Veterans once whispered that even legendary battalions had been erased by such a tide. And now it was here. Panic spread like wildfire. It's a dark tide! Someone cried. Those two words alone were enough to shatter courage. Soldiers turned and ran, armor clattering, weapons abandoned. Whoever the darkness touched was crushed instantly, body and spirit erased in a single heartbeat. Among the fleeing crowd stood the same warrior who had once crossed blades with our hero at the dungeon's entrance. Pride still burned in his eyes. He drew his sword, a shimmering shield igniting around him. A dark tide? Just because the regular troops failed doesn't mean I will! He roared. Everything here will be mine. The darkness answered. It swallowed him whole. His barrier shattered like glass under a hammer. Claws and fangs emerged from the black current, tearing into him from every direction. His scream echoed, warped and distant, as if the tide itself was devouring his voice. Something's wrong, it's stronger than A-level. His words dissolved into the roaring abyss. The dark tide rolled onward like an ocean of night, grinding everything in its path into nothingness. From afar, our hero's team watched, dread tightening their throats. Our hero turned to Captain Su, his gaze sharp. What exactly is the dark tide? Captain Su's voice was low, almost reverent. The ultimate manifestation of the dark attribute. Corruption given form. It devours everything, humans, anomalies, even energy itself. But this shouldn't be its day to appear. Behind them, Lingy whispered. They say it can erase an entire city. Brother, can we still retreat? Instead of answering, our hero raised a hand. Lightning erupted from his palm, weaving into a radiant dome that enveloped the entire team. Arcs of blue electricity danced across the barrier's surface, crackling like living serpents. Don't panic, he said firmly. This spirit barrier restrains dark energy. If needed, combine your strength and maintain it. You'll survive the tide's impact. Captain Su stared stunned. What are you planning? Even a spirit creation expert was swallowed whole. We can't stop that thing. Lightning gathered in one of his hands. Flames ignited in the other. He stepped beyond the barrier, wind whipping his coat, eyes blazing with exhilaration rather than fear. So what if it's condensed? He declared. Then I'll shatter it. And with that, he launched himself straight into the heart of the dark tide. Darkness closed around him like jaws. Monsters swarmed from every direction, fused together into grotesque composite forms. Yet instead of terror, excitement flashed across his face. Just as I thought, he muttered. Not merely evolved anomalies, but upgraded amalgamations. From B level to A, from A to S, this entire tide might as well be an SSS-class entity. Lightning exploded outward. Fire followed in sweeping arcs. Each strike carved luminous scars through the darkness. Composite beasts disintegrated, their shrieks drowned by thunder. Where he moved, the tide parted, burned, torn, and electrified. Memories flickered through his mind. Once, a single B-level serpent had pushed him to his limits. Now, A-level constructs fell like brittle leaves before a storm. He pressed deeper. Amid the chaos, he spotted a familiar figure, the hunter who had once quarreled with him. The man was half submerged in shadow, his body slowly dissolving into the tide. Only faint pulses of spirit energy remained. Our hero crouched beside him, eyes narrowing. There's still a reaction. His spirit foundation isn't completely gone. With a fierce surge of lightning, he cleaved the surrounding darkness and dragged the hunter free. The man collapsed unconscious onto the cracked ground, barely breathing. Our hero looked down at him, voice calm yet resolute. You're not finished yet. There's still hope, even if it's only a sliver. Just then, as his gaze locked once more onto the writhing mass of shadow, a suffocating aura descended like a collapsing sky. The pressure was immense. Ancient, endless, as if the darkness itself had awakened. Instead of fear, our hero's eyes gleamed with exhilaration. Infinite multiplication, he murmured. So this is the special nature of an anomaly above my rank? Then, let's experiment. He raised his hand. A translucent interface flashed before him. System notification. Dark attribute detected. Energy level, extremely high. A second line followed instantly. System notification. Special power detected. Extraction temporarily impossible. His expression hardened. So even at the spirit creation realm, I still can't extract it. As expected. The dark attribute is on a different tier entirely. Yet the corner of his lips curled upward. Around him, monsters lunged from every direction, but his mind raced faster than their claws. If I can't erase it, and I can't absorb it directly, then I'll just change the method. A brief regret flickered across his thoughts. If only I had my little white flower. Desolation against darkness would have been perfect. Then realization struck. Of course. I already have the answer. Flames ignited around his body, swirling outward like a blooming sun within the abyss. Far away, beyond the lightning barrier, his team watched in mounting anxiety. Captain, have you ever seen anything like this? One asked. Captain Sue shook her head slowly. My experience is limited, but nothing on this scale. Can the dark tide even be calmed down? Before them, the darkness had swallowed their hero completely. Not a spark of him remained visible. Lin Yi's voice trembled. The barrier feels strange. I wasn't this scared even against ghost vines. He's been inside too long. What if? Captain Sue stepped closer, placing a steady hand on her shoulder. His spirit barrier is still active. It only flickered. If we reinforce it together, it will hold. And if someone of his strength were to fall here, then none of us would survive either. Her gaze sharpened. A spirit creation expert wielding multiple rare attributes. I suspect his true power is already at 3 stars. We, who barely reached Ghost Axe 3 stars, have no right to think about rescuing him. Lin Yi let out a nervous laugh. Your humor is really something. Sue smiled faintly. My teammates say the same. What about you, feeling better now? At that very moment, a pillar of blazing fire erupted from the heart of the dark tide. It tore through the darkness like a newborn star. Everything around it disintegrated. Shadows melted, screams vanished, and the oppressive night fractured under unbearable heat. At the center of the inferno stood their hero, unmoved, radiant, untouchable. 9 colossal fire dragons spiraled around him, their flaming bodies shredding the remnants of the tide. Each roar echoed like thunder, each coil sealing the darkness tighter and tighter. Cheers burst from the team. From afar, even distant observers could only stare in awe. So, this is the Skyfire attribute, someone whispered. He sealed the dark tide itself. Our hero raised both hands. The entire mass of black energy was engulfed in flames, compressed, lifted high into the air. With a decisive motion, he slammed it down, then hurled it skyward, flinging the sealed darkness far beyond the battlefield. He stepped forward, carrying the rescued hunter, and let out a quiet breath. For now, you're safe. An unexpected gain. Lin Yi rushed up. Cousin! Are you alright? It's such a relief to see you safe. Captain Sue bowed her head slightly. Leave him to us, big brother. But you sealed a high-level dark attribute. Why don't you look happy? He answered calmly. Because it's only temporary. The dark energy here is too abundant. We must leave before the sealing effect fades, and collect the Shui flower quickly. She nodded. Understood. We'll take him to the Spirit Association. Someone else asked softly. The others, ahead of us, did none survive? Our hero's voice grew heavy. Not even a fragment remained. Except for this man, the rest were completely devoured, regardless of cultivation. Silence fell. Even the air seemed colder. After giving instructions for the team to move ahead, our hero lingered at the rear, staring into the lingering dark energy like a scholar studying forbidden scripture. He lifted his hand again. System notification. Strong dark attribute fluctuation detected. System notification. Detection complete. Initiating ultimate computational power. Compiling. The darkness stirred. Instead of resisting, it began to flow toward him, thin streams of black mist threading into his veins. A cold aura spread across his body, neither painful nor comforting, merely vast, like standing alone beneath an endless night sky. Seconds passed. System notification. Dark attribute successfully absorbed. Information cascaded through his consciousness, skills, effects, limitations. A name formed within the void. Infinite darkness, condensed black mist domain. Within this domain, spiritual energy would corrode. Power would wither. Light itself would hesitate to shine. Seeing the last strands of black mist sink into his palm, our hero slowly clenched his fist. Dark domain, a special realm. He spoke in a low voice, analyzing it like a strategist examining a newly forged weapon. If I release infinite darkness during battle, the corrosion of the dark attribute will continuously erode my opponent's spiritual power, weakening their supply. And if I stack it with my other attributes, fire, lightning, desolation, the suppression will multiply. In that case, even if something stranger than the dark tide appears, I'll still be able to crush it across realms. Behind him, Su King suddenly stiffened. Her eyes widened. Big brother, do you feel that? The black mist, it's coming back. She turned. What she saw stole her breath. Dark energy spiraled around him like a silent galaxy. Not chaotic. Not violent. Controlled. Obedient. Her voice trembled. This spiritual fluctuation, is he breaking through again? No, the heavens didn't change. There was no phenomenon. Wait. Did he absorb the dark tide's power? The realization struck her like lightning. That's impossible. The officials had classified the dark tide as S rank with no upper limit. A calamity even military elites feared. Before the age of spiritual revival, everyone knew. The dark attribute was taboo. It was said to be born from negative emotions, hatred, despair, and hidden malice buried deep within every living being. Attempts to purify it had once cost entire research divisions their lives. Since then, dark anomalies were isolated and forbidden. She remembered the old case. A Ghost X Realm 3-star pioneer, who absorbed only a wisp from a C-rank anomaly. His skin rotted. His mind shattered. He never recovered. Yet here he stood. Calm. Stable. Uncorrupted. Her heartbeat quickened. Come out, our hero said coldly without turning. You've been watching long enough. Footsteps echoed from the shadows. Jialan emerged, expression unreadable. If I'm not mistaken, she said evenly, you were the one who sealed that dark tide. Gasps rippled through the group. And just now, she continued, eyes narrowing. What were you doing? Our hero met her gaze without hesitation. Absorbing dark attributes. Silence fell like a curtain. Jialan's fingers slipped into her coat. A metallic click followed. She drew a gun and aimed it directly at him. Everyone froze. Sister Jialan, what are you doing? Su King rushed forward, placing herself between them. If I remember correctly, he's the top recruitment target your military wants. When our spirit association tried, you intercepted. What does this mean now? Our hero gently moved Su King aside, voice calm but edged with frost. Strange. Our mission is to find the shy flower, isn't it? You seemed eager earlier. Now you look disappointed we survived. The tension thickened. 81 sultry woman finally burst out. We trusted you. You were here the whole time, why didn't you act earlier? Without him we'd all be dead. Lingi is still a child. Jialan stared at them. Then suddenly laughed. She lowered the gun. Relax. Just a joke. Relief swept the group, but our hero's eyes remained sharp. So you came to test me? She nodded lightly. More or less. Reports are cold. I wanted to see the person myself. As for why I didn't intervene. She turned away, voice quieter now. Pioneers live by the rules of the spiritual revival world. Life and death change in an instant. That is our fate. You are lucky, because you have someone strong enough to protect you. She paused. Didn't you notice? No anomalies dared approach you earlier. They were frightened by the sealing of the power you displayed. The dark tide itself follows that law. It bullies the weak and fears the strong. Then she added, almost casually. Come. I'll take you to the shy flower. I know this place better than you. Our hero watched her back in silence. This girl, she's broken somewhere inside. Beside him, Su King whispered. Her team faced the dark tide before. She was the only survivor. Understanding dawned. So that's it. Strict obedience to missions. Cold indifference masking survivor's guilt. A self-destructive edge held together by fragile belief. And when she saw someone do what her entire team could not, seal the dark tide, that belief trembled. Turning back to his team, our hero spoke in a calm voice. Forget it. Lenny, let's just be considerate of someone who's injured. From behind, the 81-year-old sultry woman frowned and asked doubtfully. Is she really injured? Our hero nodded seriously. Yes. Her spiritual barrier is severely damaged. She should normally have the strength of a 2-star spirit creation realm cultivator, but her barrier has dropped by at least 2 levels. That means she suffered heavy internal injuries. Compared to that, my own injuries are nothing. Soon after, the story shifted deeper into the extreme dark zone, to a vast mass grave. Our hero's team had already arrived. The ground was littered with human skeletons scattered everywhere, pale bones half buried in the black soil. Walking ahead, our hero looked at the remains with a heavy expression. Just then, Jialan, who was leading the way, suddenly stopped and said quietly, "We're here. This is the mass grave." In front of them, through the dim darkness, a glowing plant came into view. One of the team members gasped excitedly. "Look! That's the Shirchi flower!" Floating beside the flower was a dark attribute elemental spirit guarding it like a silent sentinel. The moment Jialan saw the flower, her composure shattered. Her eyes widened with obsession as she muttered almost madly, Finally I found you." Without thinking, she rushed forward toward it. Seeing her reckless behavior, our hero's expression darkened. As soon as Jialan stepped closer, she seemed to fall into a trance, walking as if under a spell. Realizing something was wrong, our hero instantly understood. She had been enchanted by the dark attribute surrounding the flower. Without hesitation, he formed a blazing fireball and hurled it toward her to stop her advance. Feeling the powerful energy rushing toward her back, Jialan suddenly snapped out of it. The pressure of the incoming attack made her immediately recognize the rare and powerful yang attribute within it. She spun around and struck the fireball, dispersing it in midair. Looking at our hero with a serious expression, she silently realized what had just happened. So, even with all my preparations, it still wasn't enough. At that moment, Linny hurried over and asked worriedly, "Sister Jialan, are you alright?" Standing beside her, Su King said firmly, "You're heavily influenced by the dark attribute. It's better if you stay here with us." Jialan said nothing more and simply nodded quietly. Someone from behind muttered, "As long as he goes, that's enough." Ignoring their words, our hero stepped alone into the dense fog surrounding the flower. The dark mist swallowed him almost immediately, making it impossible to see anything from outside. Step by step he moved deeper until the glowing Shirchi flower finally appeared clearly before him. But just as he approached, cracks suddenly spread across the ground beneath his feet. From those fissures, a grotesque dark attribute monster crawled out and lunged toward him. Countless twisted screams echoed from within its body, as if many devoured souls were trapped inside it. The moment he saw it, our hero raised his hand and unleashed divine thunder. Lightning exploded from his palm and struck the monster directly, severely injuring it in a single blow. The creature twisted violently in agony. Watching it carefully, our hero thought, "This fox demon, just how many anomalies has it devoured to mutate like this? Another S rank?" His expression hardened. "I must finish this quickly. Take the Shirchi flower and return. The seal on the dark tide won't last forever." Raising his hand again, he laughed faintly. "So you're still alive? Good. Then let me test something on you." As he spoke, he activated the dark attribute power he had recently obtained. A thick black domain spread outward, trapping the monster inside. The moment it was engulfed by the dark energy, the fox demon fell into chaotic illusions and began thrashing violently. Horrifying screams echoed as its mind collapsed under the pressure. At that very moment, a system notification appeared before our hero. System notification: due to the influence of the special dark attribute from the infinite dark realm, the level 5 abnormal half-corrupted fox demon has been downgraded to C rank. Seeing the result, our hero narrowed his eyes slightly. After fully restraining the monster, he drew his sword. 2 ranks dropped in a single strike. Looks like the so-called S-rank anomalies in this extreme darkness aren't that stable after all. Infusing yang attribute energy into his blade, he swung it down, releasing a blazing slash of fire straight toward the trapped monster. Meanwhile, outside the dark sphere, our hero's teammates could see nothing of the battle. The dark-colored sphere completely blocked their view. Feeling the energy radiating from it, Su Qing's expression grew serious. "What is this? This dark aura, it feels like the dark attribute, but not exactly the same." Standing beside her, Linny also spoke thoughtfully. "Yes, it doesn't carry that usual disgusting, cold, oppressive feeling." At that moment, Jialan, who had been standing quietly behind them, said in a calm yet serious voice, "That's because this is Fang Yi's domain. He has mastered the dark attribute, and without any teacher, created his own domain." As she said this, she was thinking to herself, "Using spiritual power to form a domain is extremely difficult. Until now, the only person capable of creating a domain with their spiritual attribute was my teacher. Aside from him, perhaps only 3 people in the entire world possessed such an ability. The other 2 were unknown, though it was rumored they belonged to Country M. Back then, when the capital was predicted to face a catastrophic disaster, her teacher had once tried to suppress it using his domain, but the result had been disastrous." While they were still talking, the dark sphere before them slowly began to dissipate. The black mist gradually faded away. From within it, a figure emerged. Someone shouted excitedly, "Someone's coming out!" Everyone immediately looked forward. There he was, our hero. When he saw them, he casually waved his hand and said, "All right. There shouldn't be any more trouble in this graveyard ahead." Then he walked over to the glowing flower, plucked it carefully, and held it in his hand while thinking, this should be fine. It's in perfect condition. Seeing this, Jialan was stunned. Despite all her previous attempts, she had never succeeded in retrieving the flower. Yet our hero had done it on his very first try. Our hero then walked over and handed the flower to her. Task complete. We should leave immediately. The dark tide isn't like ordinary dark attribute anomalies. It could cause trouble again at any moment. Jialan accepted the flower with a small smile. All right. Thank you, Fangyi. Without your help in turning the tide, this mission would have been impossible to complete. Thanks to everyone. Let's head out. The group began moving back toward the portal. As they walked, Jialan looked at our hero and said sincerely, Fangyi, I truly thank you. Elder Wu, the only Vajra realm master in Xia Nation, is currently on the verge of death. The Shikui flower is the only medicine that can save him. You've saved his life. Hearing this, our hero simply glanced at her quietly without saying anything. Soon the entire team reached the portal gate. When they saw the portal glowing ahead, everyone felt overwhelming relief. Finally! We see the light. We can escape alive! As they stepped through the portal and emerged outside, they were shocked to see countless military soldiers waiting there. The soldiers immediately shouted in excitement. The Shikui flower? You actually obtained the Shikui flower? When Sister Lan said it had been retrieved, they hadn't even dared to believe it. Everyone looked around in shock, wondering who had accomplished such a feat. In front of them stood a large military truck. Someone muttered in disbelief. That's the vehicle of the Star God War Zone. The Star God War Zone was the most powerful military force in Xia Nation, known throughout the entire country. Everyone suddenly realized something. So Sister Lan is actually a high-ranking officer of the Star God War Zone. Even before the era of spiritual revival, the Star God War Zone had been famous nationwide. It was the strongest elite force, gathering the most outstanding talents both physically and intellectually. After spiritual energy revived, their advantages became even greater. They possessed vast resources, and the restricted zones they guarded were also rare cultivation grounds filled with immense spiritual energy. The soldiers were overjoyed upon seeing the flower. A senior military officer stepped forward carefully and placed the Shikui flower into a secure container. Afterward, he turned to look at everyone, his gaze eventually landing on our hero. At that moment, all the soldiers suddenly saluted him with deep respect. The officer then turned to Jialan and said respectfully, I'll immediately send the flower to the hospital. Please don't worry. Jialan nodded. All right. I'll come later. The military truck soon departed. After it left, only our hero and Jialan remained standing nearby. Our hero looked at her and asked, So you're from the Star God War Zone? Jialan replied calmly. Your strength and performance have probably already spread throughout our entire war zone. Before long, you'll become a well-known figure. To be honest, your strength alone could crush even the strongest squads in our war zone. And your potential, I can't even see its limits. She paused before continuing. If you're interested, would you consider joining us? You'd gain access to the best cultivation resources available. She added casually. Oh, and for this mission, you, your teammates, and the Spirit Association squad will all receive double bounty rewards. Our hero nodded slightly. Thanks for the reward. But even though I know your war zone is the strongest in Xia Nation, I have my own cultivation methods and pace. So, I'll pass on joining. Jialan didn't seem surprised. Instead, she explained patiently. Fangyi, the world is changing rapidly. What our nation fears most are dark attribute anomalies. Their numbers are increasing quickly, and in the future the situation will only become worse. Their influence spreads like malignant tumors capable of causing disasters at any moment. That's why we must give everything to stop them. Restricted zones must be established to hold them back. Meanwhile, the Spirit Association continues guarding the cities. She looked at him seriously. I'm not telling you this to pressure you or bind you with responsibility. I simply believe someone as exceptional as you deserves to know the truth about what's happening. Hearing this, our hero laughed lightly. I understand. If I encounter anomalies again in the future, even if strangers are involved, I won't stand by and watch. Jialan smiled softly at his answer. Then she took out a small token and handed it to him. It was good meeting you, Fangyi. Please accept this token. With it, you can freely enter and leave any restricted zone for cultivation. The doors of the Star God War Zone will always remain open to you, she added gently. And one more thing. Would you like to meet Elder Wu? Someone nearby gasped. You mean the Vajra Realm Venerable? Jialan nodded. Yes. He's my teacher. I think the two of you should meet. I don't know if you're willing, but it's just my personal wish. I really want to be friends with you. Our hero smiled, slipped the token into his pocket, and raised his hand. Activating his thunder power, he said with a laugh. All right. More friends mean more paths ahead. I'll go with you this time. And this, consider it a gift between friends. As he spoke, lightning suddenly flowed from his hand and struck Jialan. Everyone was shocked, but the lightning didn't harm her. Instead, it began healing her body. Jialan immediately felt the changes within herself. This thunder attribute, it has a healing effect. Her entire body tingled. The cold pain that had once filled her limbs vanished. Warmth spread through her body. The wounds corroded by the black mist began healing rapidly. Her damaged organs recovered, and her meridians were cleansed and restored. The toxins inside her body were completely destroyed by the rare thunder attribute. Unbelievable, it feels like being reborn. After a while, the lightning faded. Our hero looked at her and asked casually, "How do you feel now?" Jialan examined herself and smiled. "I'm completely fine now. All the remaining dark attribute energy in my body has been eliminated. No, more accurately, it's been shattered." Meanwhile, on the other side, inside the ambulance, doctors were examining the injured warrior. After a thorough check, one of them said in shock, "Even someone at the first stage of the spirit creation realm was injured like this. Can he even be saved?" Standing outside the ambulance was Su Qinging. She turned to look toward our hero and Jialan, then walked over. First, she asked Jialan, "You're still here?" But after observing her closely, her expression changed. "Wait, something feels different about you." Jialan smiled faintly. "Yes. A rare and pure thunder attribute. It completely cleansed all the dark energy in my body." Hearing this, Su Qinging looked at our hero with a hint of awe. "So this is the thunder attribute of the tyrant. It destroys enemies above and saves lives below." Our hero chuckled lightly. "Hey, what are you staring at?" Snapping back, Su Qinging quickly waved at the doctors, calling them over. Then she turned back to him with an innocent tone. "I just wanted to ask, could we work with you? If we combined your spiritual power with medical equipment, we might be able to save more pioneers affected by dark attributes." Our hero summoned thunder in his hand again and asked casually, "Would that work?" The doctors immediately gathered around, carefully observing the lightning. One of them said excitedly, "It's possible. This level of pure, high-grade thunder attribute energy can indeed destroy dark energy." Jialan, standing behind them, added seriously, "He directly transferred his energy into me just now, and the dark attribute inside my body was shattered. So in theory, wouldn't it work if he simply made contact with the injured?" One doctor nodded thoughtfully. "That could work." But Su Qinging quickly rubbed her forehead. "No, not exactly. Not every spirit creation realm cultivator can handle such powerful energy." Another doctor added, "Yes. Commander Su's injuries, while serious, were still considered light. But that injured warrior, to fully heal him would require at least 10 times that level of thunder energy. Even if we save him, a complete recovery would be difficult." Then the doctor turned to our hero. "Please come to the ambulance." Our hero walked over with a smile. "So it's like a blood transfusion, right? How do I transfer my spiritual power? Can you store it for later use?" The doctors brought out a device, one of them explained. "Please place your hand here and release your spiritual energy." Nearby, Lenny watched in awe. "I never imagined Commander Su was such a high-ranking figure in the Star God War Zone. And my cousin, he's already at the level where even they want to recruit him." Our hero glanced at her and asked, "How are you doing?" Lenny smiled. "We're fine now. 81 and I plan to keep training and take on more missions. We can't keep relying on you forever, or we'll never improve." Inside, she thought firmly, "I can't stay a burden. I have to catch up to him." Our hero withdrew his hand from the device and smiled. "All right. Stay safe." Then he thought to himself, still growing. At that moment, Su Qinging said, "We'll take our leave then. Hopefully, we'll meet again on another mission." Jialan added, "Let's go. We should visit Elder Wu." Everyone parted ways. Meanwhile, Su Qinging and her team drove off in another vehicle. She muttered angrily, "Let them act all high and mighty, skipping sight work. And now the Star God War Zone just snatched him away. All my efforts were wasted." The woman driving beside her tried to calm her. "Relax, Captain Su." But Su Qinging remained silent, deep in thought. The Spirit Association is too chaotic. Officials act more arrogant than military elites. Teams are scattered, and instead of building relationships with talents like him, some fools only create trouble. What a mess. Soon after, Jialan brought our hero to the highest level ward in the Star God War Zone's medical base. On the bed lay Elder Wu, his body frail and lifeless. Jialan spoke softly. "This is Mr. Lanshan. Strange, isn't it? A Vajra realm powerhouse, yet he looks like a withered old man. He used to look even worse, like a corpse. Even after using the withered grace flower, he still hasn't awakened." Our hero frowned slightly. "What exactly did he go through?" Jialan took a deep breath and began explaining. "When the dark attribute calamity descended on the capital, even the sky changed. Darkness tore the heavens apart. To stop the anomaly from devouring the entire city, my teacher used his own body to seal the rift. All of us used a special method to channel our spiritual power into him. We estimated the calamity to be above S-class. We've faced terrifying dark tides before, but this was several times more destructive. If it had fully manifested, it could have destroyed the capital and spread to nearby cities. And if the capital fell, the entire nation would collapse into chaos. She clenched her fist slightly. My teacher forced the anomaly into suppression using his domain. But we didn't expect that even with all of us supporting him, it would barely be enough. The dark attribute backfired on him. Her voice lowered. If he hadn't been a Vajra realm venerable, he would have turned to ashes instantly, or worse, become nourishment for the anomaly itself. Hearing this, our hero said quietly, to stop the destruction of an entire city, what an incredible pioneer he must be. Then, looking at Elder Wu's frail body, he thought back then too, there were countless pioneers who stood before me, giving me the chance to survive as the last human. Perhaps in that past life, he had already sacrificed himself at this very moment. Without another word, our hero raised his hand toward Elder Wu. Seeing this, Jialan immediately became tense. What are you planning to do to my master? As thunder energy gathered in his palm, our hero replied calmly. Don't worry. The withered grace flower has already taken effect, but I want to try something, to remove the remaining stubborn dark attribute inside him. That might help him wake up faster. What? But this is an S-class calamity! Jialan exclaimed. Then, recalling everything he had done so far, she hesitated before speaking again. Alright, try it. Maybe you're the miracle we've been waiting for. But be careful. The dark attribute inside him is far more terrifying than anything in the dark tide. Otherwise, even with the flower, my teacher wouldn't still be recovering so slowly. Our hero nodded slightly. I know. I can feel it. The darkness inside him is unbelievably powerful. Even after being suppressed, it still carries a crushing pressure. The moment his thunder energy entered Elder Wu's body, the entire room darkened. Black energy began leaking out, filling the space with an eerie aura. Fan Yi, focus! Be careful! Jialan shouted. But our hero remained steady, his hand pressed against Elder Wu's chest as his thunder energy continued to flow, clashing with the corruption within. Moments later, his vision blurred. When he opened his eyes, he saw something horrifying, a massive crimson eye floating in the sky, staring directly at him. His expression hardened. It dragged my consciousness into the past. Dark fog surged around him, pulling him deeper into Elder Wu's consciousness. Inside, he found himself in an illusion. The enormous eye was still there, alive, glaring at him. Who are you? It roared. Our hero paused, then smirked. Just by touching the dark attribute inside him, I've been pulled into this illusion. Activating his lightning attribute, he said calmly. It doesn't matter. I'm here to erase you. The creature instantly launched a violent dark attack. How is this happening? Our hero muttered, dodging rapidly as he moved through the assault. After gaining some distance, he stopped, surprised. This lightning, it's not weaker than the divine thunder I absorbed on Yuhuan Peak. And there are so many of these dark insect-like anomalies. The creature continued multiplying, creating countless monsters. Seeing them, our hero said, even if this is just an illusion, each one is as strong as the anomalies from the dark tide, and there are thousands. Drawing his sword, he infused it with his yang attribute. Flames burst from the blade. The creature suddenly merged into a single massive entity. So, a swarm control technique, he said calmly, then charged forward, slashing through them relentlessly. As he fought, he thought, this must be an S-level aggregate anomaly, but maybe because of the illusion, or the effect of the withered grace flower, its strength is weakened, around A-level perhaps. Then his thoughts deepened. Are these the same creatures Elder Wu faced? The ones capable of destroying an entire city? After a pause, he corrected himself. No, probably even worse. Countless creatures continued flooding the space. Seeing their overwhelming numbers, our hero raised his hand and activated his dark attribute. Sensing the power, the creatures cried out in fear. You can't be human! Our hero laughed. Too late to realize that. He unleashed his power, forming a pitch-black domain that began pulling everything toward its center. The dark entity roared in fury. We will meet again, very soon! As its voice faded, all the creatures were dragged into the domain and completely erased. Hearing those words, our hero thought, so this is the lingering consciousness of the calamity, it said Does that mean there are more? Will other disasters descend? With a determined expression, he continued destroying everything with lightning and flames until nothing remained. Moments later, he exited Elder Wu's consciousness. Back in reality, he extracted the remaining corrupted energy from Elder Wu's body and sealed it using the 9-Dragon Skyfire technique. A mass of black energy floated in his hand. Jialan stared at it in shock. So this is the dark attribute that remained inside my master? Our hero nodded. Yes. It's the residue of the calamity. Even now, it still holds immense power. But after being weakened by the flower and suppressed by Elder Wu himself, it's no longer as overwhelming. He looked at Elder Wu with respect. He truly deserves the title of Xia Nation's greatest pioneer. He used his own body as a vessel to suppress this darkness for so long. Anyone else would have died countless times over. Jialan lowered her head slightly. You really saved him. Our hero gave a faint smile. Not entirely. Without the withered grace flower weakening it first, I wouldn't have been able to remove the remaining dark attribute at all. Meanwhile, back at the medical ward, Jialan spoke softly. The losing temper flower may have preserved his life, but your power gave him the chance to truly recover. Our hero looked at the black energy in his hand, clenched his fist, and crushed it completely. The dark remnant shattered into nothingness as he said calmly. All right, now it's completely gone. Then he turned to Jialan, his tone growing serious. But there's something you need to know. Inside that spiritual illusion, the dark attribute remnant of the calamity hinted that it will return. We need to be ready. Next time, we can't let a recovering old man stand on the front line again. Jialan nodded. Yes. I've heard that rumor. Rumor? He raised an eyebrow. She explained. The military and the Spirit Association constantly monitor abnormal spiritual energy fluctuations. Their data is strictly classified. But there's a rumor. Based on current projections, Xia Nation might not even survive the first year of the spiritual energy revival. Our hero fell silent for a moment. Could my rebirth have changed the future? In his previous life, humanity had survived until the third year, barely. By then, the world had already been pushed to the brink of destruction. Placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder, he said gently. Don't overthink it. Elder Wu will wake up soon. And if that calamity returns, I'll fight alongside you. His gaze sharpened with determination. This time, I'll change everything. Later, back at his apartment, our hero sat cross-legged, immersed in cultivation. Waves of spiritual energy flowed through his body as he sensed a breakthrough approaching. After facing two S-class anomalies. I'm close. Spirit Creation Realm, 2nd star. Dark energy flickered faintly around him before settling back into calm. When he opened his eyes, his gaze fell on a small plant nearby, the strange little life form he had brought back earlier. It swayed gently, almost as if it were aware of him. Smiling, he walked over. So, it's you. Not bringing you last time was my mistake, though you're not exactly easy to carry around. A spark of excitement lit up his eyes. Come on. Let's go for a walk. Soon, he arrived at the mountain behind his apartment. The forest had already begun to regenerate, lush and vibrant once more. The Spirit Association's botanical department really knows what they're doing. He muttered. Nature's recovering fast, but this is still impressive. He gently removed the plant from its pot. Remember, don't absorb too much. With your appetite, you could drain half the planet. The moment its roots touched the soil, a violent surge of energy erupted. In seconds, the surrounding vegetation withered. Grass turned brittle, trees dried up, and life itself seemed to be drained away. Our hero frowned. You've already taken too much. He quickly pulled the plant out, shaking his head with a small laugh. All right, we'll find you another place. Looking at it thoughtfully, he added. Among all wood-type evolvers, you'd rank pretty high. With that desolation attribute, you're at least A-class. He glanced around. The mountain felt eerily silent. No animals at all. They must be avoiding your aura. Just then, his expression changed. A low, distant sound echoed through the forest. Wolves? Moments later, howls rose from every direction. One after another, they overlapped, forming a chilling chorus that echoed across the mountain. Soon, glowing eyes appeared in the darkness, dozens, then hundreds. The entire ridge was surrounded. Under a blood-red full moon, a massive wolf stood atop a rocky outcrop, its presence overwhelming. Our hero narrowed his eyes. The Wolf King. Its aura was unstable, yet powerful, on the verge of completing its evolution. The surrounding wolves growled, slowly closing in. This pressure, it's about to reach A-class. Observing carefully, he analyzed, originally a wood attribute creature, but now it's mutated. Poison attribute. He murmured. Corrosive, likely from absorbing dark energy. A faint smile appeared on his face as he stepped forward. Interesting. Looks like things are getting more dangerous. Without hesitation, our hero took the flower from its pot and planted it back into the ground, saying calmly, Now finish them all. In his mind, he analyzed the situation. Even if the Wolf King is only an A-level anomaly, the real problem is their numbers. And the city lies just below this mountain. If they break through, it will be a disaster. The moment the plant touched the soil, a violent surge of desolation energy spread outward. The Wolf King roared furiously, and at that signal, the entire pack charged at once. Our hero smirked. Good. Let me see how strong your desolation power is when it acts alone. Far away, a patrol team monitoring the mountain immediately sensed the disturbance. One of them frowned. The Wolf King's evolution succeeded. What's the pollution level? Another checked the readings. It's at 90. 90? Someone gasped. a researcher quickly added. And it's still rising. The Wolf King's strength is at least Ghost Axe Realm 3-star, possibly even Spirit Creation Realm 1-star. The others fell silent in shock. And the rest? 2-star to 3-star Ghost Axe Realm across the pack. A hunter clenched his fists. Then we don't have enough manpower. We can't win this. Suddenly, the instruments began fluctuating wildly. Wait, dark energy detected. Someone shouted. Confusion spread through the group. The researcher stared at the screen, realization dawning. Dual attributes. The Wolf King has both wood and dark attributes. That's why the pollution level is so high. He glanced again. The reading had jumped to 100. His face turned pale. Even if we can't defeat them, we must stop them. If that pack descends into the city, everything below will be destroyed. I'm calling for reinforcements. Before they could react further, the ground began to tremble violently. Do you feel that? An earthquake? No, this isn't normal. Their devices flickered again. 100, then suddenly 1,000. Silence fell, then panic exploded. What kind of power is this? This is destruction-level energy. Run! Get to the safe zone. They turned and fled down the mountain, shouting orders. Evacuate all nearby residents immediately. But then something changed. One of them suddenly stopped. Wait, the desolation energy, it's gone. They looked ahead. Massive vines were erupting from the ground, spreading across the mountain like a living network. The energy sank into the mountain itself. The captain muttered. Another hesitated. It feels like the danger just disappeared. Should we still report this? Back at the battlefield, everything had transformed. What was once barren land had become a sea of blooming flowers. At the center stood our hero, facing the Wolf King. The beast raised its claw, fury burning in its eyes. Our hero spoke calmly. These flowers will keep growing, multiplying, until every last bit of your energy is drained. He glanced at the surrounding wolves. You can protect yourself with your spiritual power, but can they? The answer came instantly. Vines burst from the ground, wrapping around the wolves. One by one, they were drained dry. Their bodies withered into skeletons before collapsing lifelessly, their energy completely devoured. As this continued, the flower itself evolved, growing stronger with every life it consumed. The Wolf King barely avoided the vines. Watching its pack die, it let out a furious roar and unleashed a massive energy blast toward our hero. But before the attack could reach him, gigantic vines surged upward, forming a dense barrier that absorbed the blast completely. Our hero looked at the Wolf King with a faint smile and said, It's useless. Haven't you realized it yet? The desolation power of this spirit flower has already rooted itself deep beneath the mountain. This endless sea of flowers draws strength from the forest and returns it to the land. You may have gained intelligence through evolution, but surely you've heard the saying, wildfire cannot destroy it, for with a spring breeze it grows again. He nodded in approval. Not bad. You even managed to locate the flower's true origin. By now, the spirit flower had turned a deep crimson. Glancing at it, our hero spoke softly. Little flower, it has found you. So, what will you do now? As though it understood his words, the flower suddenly opened its petals and lunged forward, swallowing the charging Wolf King whole. The beast howled and struggled violently as countless vines wrapped around its body, draining every last trace of spiritual energy. Within moments, the mighty Wolf King had been completely devoured, leaving behind nothing but a pile of bones. Watching the scene unfold, our hero thought to himself, what an overbearing desolation ability. I never imagined that after infusing it with desolation energy, this spirit flower would develop its own cultivation method without any further guidance from me. A moment later, the flower spat out the Wolf King's bones, scattering them across the ground. Gazing at the crimson glow surrounding it, our hero murmured. Once trapped within this endless sea of flowers, no anomaly can escape. Even if the flowers are destroyed, they'll simply bloom again, fueled by infinite desolation energy until everything is reduced to white bones. I'll call this technique Endless Spiritual Sea. The flower's crimson radiance intensified as it transformed once again, releasing an immense wave of power. At that instant, a system notification appeared before him. Spirit Flower has successfully developed a desolation attribute technique, Endless Spiritual Sea. Seeing this, our hero smiled faintly. So you've evolved too. The surge of energy shook the surrounding region. Far away, the research team monitoring the area detected it immediately. A-class anomaly contamination detected, one researcher shouted. They hurriedly reviewed the surveillance data. One analyst reported. 2 completely different spiritual signatures appeared inside the polluted zone. The Wolf King evolved into a dual attribute anomaly, but another desolation-type energy emerged out of nowhere. Standing behind them, an elderly senior and Su Kinging watched in silence. The old man asked gravely, Where is this happening? The low mountain forest. Someone replied quickly. Captain Su was overseeing that region earlier. The old man frowned. Wasn't the Demolisher squad dispatched to eliminate the wolf pack? Just then, his communicator rang. On the other end, the researcher stationed on the mountain reported anxiously. Demolisher squad reporting. During the Wolf King's mutation, an overwhelming surge of desolation energy erupted. It completely erased the A-class Wolf King anomaly. However, instead of spreading outward, the energy burrowed into the mountain itself. Strange blossoms are now blooming across the area. We can't approach safely and have no idea what secondary effects may occur. If this unknown anomaly loses control, it could be even more dangerous than the airborne ghost vines. We request reinforcements immediately. After hearing the report, the old man's expression darkened. Deploy 2 elite units to the location at once. Behind him, Su King quietly lowered her head in thought. A sudden realization struck her. The back mountain, it has to be him again. Then she spoke with certainty. Wait, the source of that desolation energy should be Fang Yi. His home is in that area. If it's really him, then everyone there will be safe. Meanwhile, back on the mountain, the spirit flower had completed another stage of evolution. Its aura grew stronger and more stable than before. Our hero observed it with surprise. After devouring the Wolf King, you're evolving again, and you've awakened a second attribute? Fire? I didn't expect that. He gently touched the flower and chuckled. To think you can become stronger simply by devouring others. That's an absurdly convenient way to cultivate. The flower instantly shrank and floated into his palm. Another system notification appeared. Spirit Flower has devoured the mutated Wolf King and its pack. Evolution complete. Desolate Flame Spirit Flower. Rank: A-class anomaly. Attributes: Desolation Fire. Description: The evolved Desolate Flame Spirit Flower possesses an overwhelming hunger for spiritual energy, and can be nurtured within the boundless dark realm. Reading the notification, our hero murmured, "The boundless dark realm." A sphere of dark energy formed in his palm as inspiration struck him. I can't believe I overlooked something so obvious. If I cultivate the Spirit Flower inside the boundless dark realm, where the soil and anomalies are saturated with dark energy, it may evolve yet again and awaken a dark attribute as well. With that thought, he placed the flower into the dark realm. The instant it disappeared inside, the sky above began to change. Looking upward, our hero smiled. So, I'm breaking through already. Spirit Forging Realm, 2nd star. Without hesitation, he sat down, crossed his legs, and entered a cultivation state, allowing the surging spiritual energy around him to carry him toward his next breakthrough. Meanwhile, as heavenly energy descended and merged into his body, an equally powerful force surged outward from within him, resonating with heaven and earth. Our hero slowly opened his eyes and thought, I can feel it. Controlling my spiritual power has become effortless. The spiritual chi of heaven and earth flows into me as though we are one. Far away, another figure silently watched his breakthrough from the shadows. Narrowing his eyes, the man muttered coldly, I finally found you, so this is where you've been. Memories flashed through his mind, the moment our hero had first awakened his yang attribute. Watching the old recording back then, he had sneered. A fire attribute pioneer. Fine. I'll crush that pride of yours. I'll prove to everyone that I'm the #1 fire attribute pioneer. The story returned to the present. Suddenly, our hero sensed someone's presence nearby. Who's there? He shouted. The next instant, a blazing fireball shot straight toward him. Our hero swiftly dodged the attack and frowned. A fire attribute awakener. He immediately summoned his dark attribute, creating a black vortex that swallowed the incoming flames whole. Narrowing his eyes, he thought. So you've finally shown yourself. You were hiding there all along without even concealing your spiritual chi. A newly advanced spirit forging realm cultivator, no organization, no backing, just a wild pioneer obsessed with fighting. Seeing his attack fail, the stranger finally stepped out. With a confident smirk, he introduced himself. You're interesting. I can feel tremendous spiritual pressure from you. How did you dodge my flowing flame burst? Our hero remained silent, staring at him coldly. The man laughed. Right. I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Zhongli. You'll remember it very soon. Without another word, Zhongli charged forward and unleashed another blazing attack. Our hero calmly raised his hand. A bolt of divine thunder crashed down from the sky. The terrifying lightning struck Zhongli before he could react. His eyes widened in disbelief. What is this? Boom! The lightning slammed into him, sending him crashing to the ground. When the flash disappeared, Zhongli knelt there, his body covered in burns. Trembling, he muttered, What just happened? Isn't he a fire attribute pioneer? Before he could recover, our hero instantly appeared before him. Grabbing Zhongli by the head, he slammed him into the ground. Didn't catch that. What did you say your name was? Zhongli's face twisted with shock and rage. Impossible. How can this happen? I'm already a 1-star spirit forging realm cultivator, the fastest among the younger generation. I even possess one of the rarest high-tier attributes, fire. With my talent and cultivation, I should be unmatched. Everyone should admire me. Before he could finish thinking, our hero released another surge of thunder directly into his head. Zhongli screamed in agony. It hurts. It hurts so much. His mind filled with panic. Wait. He's supposed to be a fire attribute user. Then why does he also have lightning? My flames were completely suppressed. I can't even stand. Looking down at him, our hero said coldly. Is this all you've got? Kids these days are far too overconfident. Zhongli trembled uncontrollably. He hasn't even reached 2-star spirit forging realm. So why does his pressure feel stronger than mine by 2 entire realms? No, maybe 3. Fear completely overwhelmed him. No. I don't want to die. Am I really going to die here? Our hero placed his hand on Jongle's head once more, preparing another thunder strike. Seeing this, Jongle completely broke down. No! Please, don't kill me! He begged desperately, shaking with fear. Our hero watched him silently for a few moments. Then he slowly withdrew his hand. Turning around, he said calmly, "Let me give you one piece of advice. Power isn't meant to be used recklessly against people. If you have time to challenge others, go eliminate the anomalies threatening innocent lives instead." Jongle remained speechless. He could only watch our hero walk away. As his figure disappeared into the distance, Jongle lowered his head and thought, just what kind of person is he? Is his ability simply that overwhelming, or am I the one who's far too weak? Meanwhile, the scene shifted back to the city, where Jongle entered an apartment. Inside, 2 people were already waiting for him. One of them looked at his new haircut and laughed. "You're back. That new haircut actually looks pretty good." The other man, who had been sitting quietly, sighed. "Young Master Jongle, I've told you before. Constantly provoking people is never a good idea." The first man walked over and continued. "Even if you get angry again, I still have to say it. The spiritual chi revival hasn't even fully begun yet, and we're still as insignificant as dust. Yet you keep making enemies everywhere. That's far too reckless. You're always looking for a fight without even caring whether someone's friend or foe. One day it'll come back to haunt you." The second man frowned. "That's strange. We've been talking to you this whole time, but you haven't argued back once." Ignoring both of them, Jongle quietly walked over and sat down. The 2 exchanged puzzled looks. "What's going on?" One of them walked over, placed a hand on Jongle's shoulder, and asked, "Are you possessed or something? Are you really the same Jongle who picks fights and throws punches at the slightest provocation?" The first man added, "Weren't you going to challenge that heavenly fire slash today? What happened?" After a long silence, Jongle finally spoke. I lost, in a single strike." Before he could continue, the second man jumped up in shock. "What did you just say? 1 strike?" Jongle's eyes suddenly turned red. Tears streamed down his face as he said, "I lost, with just 1 move." His voice trembled. "I should have realized something was wrong. If I backed down then, I wouldn't have suffered such humiliation." The first man stared at him in disbelief. "That person was really that powerful? You're a high-level fire attribute genius. You reached the spirit creation realm within a month of awakening. There are barely a handful of people like you across several provinces." Remembering the battle, Jongle said, "It ended with 1 attack. My strongest technique, the blazing firebolt, was shattered instantly by his lightning." One of them frowned. "Could you have challenged the wrong person?" The second man patted Jongle's shoulder. "Your fire attribute has 50% purity. That's already terrifying. Unless your opponent came from one of the top war zones, who could possibly overpower you." The first man added, "You awakened late, yet after joining us to compete for cultivation resources, you defeated 2 wild pioneers with the same attribute, both at Ghost Axe Realm 3 stars. Is it possible that the heavenly fire slash wasn't even a pioneer? We estimated his strength shouldn't have exceeded yours." Suddenly, Jongle grabbed him by the collar. Still crying, he shouted, "How could I mistake him? That's exactly where the heavenly fire slash appeared. It was definitely his territory." His whole body trembled. "You weren't there. You didn't see it. He's a complete monster." Taking a deep breath, he continued, "That terrifying thunder attribute, it felt like countless heavenly lightning bolts were exploding beside my ears. My head almost burst from the pressure. I'm certain it was him. A dual fire and thunder attribute spirit creation realm pioneer of the highest class. His lightning is several times stronger than my fire. He must have been hiding his true strength. He's at least a 3-star spirit creation realm expert." The room fell silent. The 2 men looked at each other with pale faces. After a long pause, one finally spoke. "A 3-star wild pioneer? That's impossible." The other slowly nodded. "If everything you said is true, then he'll become the greatest nightmare of every top pioneer." Either of them spoke again. Trying to capture someone with that level of talent would be almost impossible. Lowering his head, Jongle wiped away his tears. "He defeated me with a single move." After a brief silence, he looked up and asked seriously, "Do you think I should ask him to become my master?" Meanwhile, the story shifted back to our hero, who was quietly cultivating in his room. As he circulated his spiritual energy, he frowned. "Strange. I was clearly on the verge of breaking through to 2-star spirit creation realm. Why did that opportunity suddenly disappear?" After checking himself carefully, he shook his head. "It's not a problem with my body." He slowly stood up and walked outside. "For some reason, the current spiritual chi can't gather or resonate. Without that resonance, I can't form the heavenly phenomena needed for a breakthrough." His expression gradually became serious. Could something major be about to happen? Is the spiritual chi revival accelerating in my city? Just then, his communicator lit up. It was a call from Jylon, but the signal showed unavailable. Our hero frowned. Has the military already moved to the front lines? He immediately shook his head. No. If a major anomaly had appeared, they would have contacted me directly. At that moment, another call came in. This time, it was Su Kinging. He answered immediately. Through heavy static, Su Kinging's trembling voice came through. Fanny, the situation, we're requesting backup. Before he could reply, a loud bang echoed through the room. A bat had crashed straight into his window. He glanced at it briefly before focusing back on the call. Your signal is terrible. Have that many anomalies appeared inside the city? Su Qingying's broken voice struggled through the interference. No, it's much worse. I'm still inside the city. Hello. The transmission was abruptly cut off. At that very moment, the bat outside the broken window suddenly twitched. It wasn't dead. Slowly, it began cracking the remaining glass, forcing its way into the room. The instant it lunged forward, our hero stood up, his eyes turning cold. You're overestimating yourself. In a flash, divine thunder erupted from his hand, instantly reducing the bat to ashes. Just then, Lin Yi burst into the room. Cousin! There are so many bat-type anomalies flying around outside. Her eyes widened as she noticed the shattered window. Looking around, she frowned. Something's definitely wrong. Anomalies usually appear only once in a while, but now they're attacking people's homes, and there are so many of them. Our hero nodded seriously. You're right. If we're lucky, the situation is still under control. But if we're unlucky, this city may undergo the same kind of disaster we've seen in the news. Two-star Ghost Axe realm anomalies normally hide in the darkness. They never run through crowded cities, much less attack a pioneer's home. A difficult battle is coming. We just don't know what's about to happen. He looked at Lin Yi. Contact every pioneer you can reach. Tell them to gather at the house. Lin Yi nodded immediately. Got it. Our hero continued. You're already close to breaking through to the spirit creation realm, aren't you? Then I'll leave the safety of the house to you. Guard this window. Don't let a single anomaly get inside. Can you do that? Lin Yi clenched her fists confidently. Leave it to me. Meanwhile, the story shifted to Su Qingying and her team. One of her teammates reported anxiously. Captain, the signal interference is getting worse. Fanny couldn't hear our exact location. Su Qingying's expression became grim. If a major catastrophe really begins, we'll have to deal with it ourselves. Another teammate asked nervously. Captain, could it just be a malfunction in the equipment? I can't even imagine what an unclassified anomaly would look like. Su Qingying remained calm, though worry filled her eyes. I hope it's just a false alarm. She immediately activated her communicator. Report the patrol status of every unit. A voice answered through the communication channel. Area A contamination level 4. All units remain on high alert. Report any changes in contamination readings immediately. Before anyone could continue, the sky suddenly twisted violently. A massive vortex appeared overhead. From within the swirling darkness, countless bat-type anomalies poured into the city. Everyone looked up in horror as the sky turned black with flapping wings. Someone shouted. Anomaly swarm! A massive anomaly swarm has appeared! At the same time, emergency broadcasts echoed throughout the city. The city is expected to experience its heaviest rainfall in 50 years. Multiple red alerts have been issued. Due to the severe weather, all public activities have been suspended. Citizens are advised to remain indoors and take all necessary safety precautions. Elsewhere, an ordinary man stepped outside on his way to work. Looking at the dark sky, he muttered uneasily. It feels like the heavens themselves are changing. This is terrifying. Standing by the doorway, his wife called out anxiously. What if something really terrible happens? Could it actually be the end of the world? What's been happening lately? Elsewhere, a group of bikers raced through the torrential rain. Leading them was Zhonglu. His teammates shouted through the storm. This weather is seriously messed up. We can't be that unlucky, right? Should we keep going or turn back? Zhonglu, say something. Just then, a bad anomaly shot toward Zhonglu at incredible speed. The moment he noticed it, flames burst from his hand. Looking for death? With a single attack, he engulfed the bat in fire. One of his teammates laughed. What's wrong with that thing? Normally, small anomalies don't even dare get close when Zhonglu uses his fire attribute. However, something unexpected happened. One of the burning bats suddenly flew back out of the flames. Zhonglu's expression immediately changed. What? His teammates stared in disbelief. How is that possible? Why didn't it burn to death? To everyone's shock, the bat wasn't weakened at all. Instead, it became even more active after being engulfed in flames. Fear spread through the group. One of them swallowed hard. This place is insane. It's not just the people who are monsters. Even the anomalies are terrifying. Without another word, they immediately decided to return home as quickly as possible. Several hours earlier, an emergency meeting had already been held after abnormal readings were detected across the city. Su Qingying stood before the assembled officials and reported. We should immediately request support from the Spirit Association's highest-ranking personnel and establish direct coordination with Fang Yi. Before she could finish, new surveillance footage appeared on the large screen. A wounded hunter was shown desperately fighting a swarm of bats. While struggling to stay alive, he shouted, Special Anomaly Alert! An A-class anomaly is expected to descend into the city center within 24 hours. Massive bat swarms have already gathered around the outskirts. Everyone in the room froze. An A-class anomaly, someone whispered in shock. The moment Su Qingying saw the report, she immediately gave her orders. Deploy the teams immediately. Notify me the moment preparations are complete. I'll head there myself. Meanwhile, the footage continued. Countless bats completely surrounded the hunter. As they overwhelmed him, he screamed one final warning. S-Class, the latest prediction, the descending anomaly is S-Class. No upper limit! His desperate screams echoed through the speakers. Then the transmission suddenly went silent. The connection had been lost. The story then shifted to the military district. A fierce battle was already underway. Soldiers fought desperately against endless swarms of dark bats. At the center of the battlefield stood Commander Zhang. Completely surrounded, she continuously cut down wave after wave of anomalies with flawless precision. She had already slain countless monsters. At that moment, she activated one of her advanced techniques, Spiritual Energy Mutation, a rare evolution of the metal attribute that allowed her to reshape spiritual energy into any weapon while increasing its power to 200%. As she continued cutting through the endless swarm, she thought to herself, "These dark attribute bats just keep multiplying. No matter how many we kill, they never seem to disappear. It's almost as if they're deliberately trying to stop us from reaching something." Just then, a man with lightning attribute powers appeared, rushing in at incredible speed. As he landed, he called out, "Commander Jilan, your wounds have healed nicely. Your power is even stronger than before." Looking up at the dark sky filled with countless bats, he continued grimly, "But things don't look good. Only the two of us senior officers are left holding this district. Please give your orders." The sky above was once again swarming with endless bats. Hearing this, Jilan replied sharply, "Our district's signals are being jammed by the anomaly. The interference systems have failed. We can't contact our field units or the other districts. I expect they're facing the same situation." All the soldiers immediately took their battle positions. Jilan raised her weapon and shouted, "Team 1 and Team 2, stay here and hold the line. Don't let them reach the restricted zone. Everyone else, follow me. Break through and link up with the squads from the other districts." At her command, everyone charged forward at full speed.
And this is how this part of this manhwa ends. Also in the future I will be bringing more and more exciting videos. Please subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, hit the like button and stay tuned until the next video.